So you guys were good with those stories. I saw Nick. Nick responded. He's the only one that actually pays attention to my calls for action. He's like,
no, I pay attention. I just didn't respond.
No, that's cool, baby. That's cool, baby.
I'm with Jammer.
I don't know
if
if
I
that makes
don't
you...
respond, it means I'm happy with it.
This is me. I look at it, I go, and then I don't respond.
Have you guys seen? There's this guy. There's a cartoon of this guy. It's like a sketch, and he's looking for the ultimate truth, and he finds this scroll, and it says, "The meetings can't be emails because you fuckers don't respond to your emails." He just throws the scroll and the scroll as one does.
Wanda does. Nice segue.
As one does, but also Wanda.
Wanda does.
As one does. I guess are there secret squirrels in WandaVision? We'll find out in our WandaVision check later on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. But first up, we got some news. Are we gonna introduce the show? Do you guys want to do an intro?
Are we gonna sync? Are we gonna do the syncy thing?
Nah.
Okay. There's no syncing. Jammer, yeah, he's in and out. It's like a ghost. He's like a phantom, like Snake Eyes.
Through the walls.
Does Jammer even exist?
Debatable.
Or is he just a brain in a jar with a banana?
I thought you were gonna do like I thought you were gonna do a Ra's al Ghul.
Why do people say Ra's al Ghul? Why does people say Ra's al Ghul?
So it depends. Ra's is from Batman, the animated series. Ra's is from the newer iterations. And so there was like a whole big debate.
Ra's? Was it spelled differently?
Listen, are you a school teacher?
No, was it spelled differently? Simple question.
I don't remember. I honestly
probably
don't remember.
not. It's probly the same name out of the comics.
Because if it's spelled RAH,
I was elected to lead, not read, Jammer. So let me tell you, for 20 years it was Ra's, and then there was like this fan.
No, but how was it spelled? It's all about the spelling.
Listen, you know what? No, it's not. You're talking about Americans. Tell me about the spelling now.
Talk about this guy.
Yeah, spell aluminum. Aluminum.
To be fair, the British spell it differently.
Zebra or Deborah? Zebra? Deborah?
I don't know. Let's take a look at some etymology.
Zebra.
Well, I mean, it depends.
We don't say ZZ top. We say ZZ top, not ZZ top. So we understand there is a subtle difference.
And that's the benefit of having an international podcast.
So really quick, look at it.
10 minutes talking about the letter Z.
The American pronunciation of zebra. It's funny. It's spelled ZEE-bra. And I just made me think about a bunch of zebras. Like, yo, man, let's do some fucking CrossFit up in this bitch. And they see one like freaking power clean, a barbell, and go run a mile.
All right. I picture them more like bronies, like guys are just really into zebras.
Zebras.
That
one's too complicated. Yours is a thinking man's show. Mine is just like lowest common denominator show.
See, and mine went to a slightly different place when you said that they run a mile, because it made me think of, remember the Titans, where you said if you drop the ball, you'll run a mile.
Run a mile.
So I thought about this. You run a mile.
You run a mile. I will break my foot off in your hind parts, and then you will run a mile. Perfection.
So now I'm thinking about the zebra all scared of Denzel.
Okay, I need Jammer to give me the timestamp right now. What is the timestamp for that movie, for that quote? Come on, Jammer.
That's a good question. My guess is 48 minutes and 30 seconds in.
Fuck, if he's right on that, I will eat a zebra.
No, not. We don't eat zebra here. Fresh out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, he's like, we're fresh out of zebra.
Fresh out of zebra. What about antelope?
Nuh-uh. Nope.
What's that from?
Nope.
It's from the light.
Hey, listen, if you're gonna live with us, you have to eat like us.
Yep. All right, I don't know where we've already started completely off topic. How did that happen?
You motherfucker. I'm just kidding. Like Ra's al Ghul, who says it that way? I don't know
that was
Ra's al Ghul either. But
we got the zebra. No, right. It was zebra. That's where it came from.
To bring it full circle, the person that says Ra's is Kevin Conroy and everyone on the cast of Batman animated series from the early 90s. Before that, I don't know that there was a pronunciation. So I think the controversy was with Batman Begins, the pronunciation, and I'm fairly certain that Christopher Nolan and that whole team of folks that were like, no, we got word from the creator that this is the the correct pronunciations.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because I feel like a lot of times animation things are so quick that it's just like, you know, there's no canon yet. Like it's not pronounced yet, so we'll just pronounce it this way and run with it. And then even if it's wrong.
How do I say it? Just do it, Kevin. God.
Fine.
It's to avoid someone saying, "Why did you say that name, Raj?" I didn't. I said Ras. No, you said Rach. No, I didn't. Don't say that name.
I definitely thought you were doing a Martha joke. Was that a Martha joke?
Oh, I thought it was.
Now, if I have to explain the joke, then you just ruined it, Jack.
I was just making sure because
joke.
you said it, but then like it didn't seem like you fully leaned into it enough.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't commit. See
Never
what happens
please
if you don't
Jammer.
commit?
You're a fun sponge, Jammer.
I've been told that. This is the second time this week I've been told that. Well, not
So-
Fun Sponge specifically, but
And to put a cap on it, they've said that Raz is how Raish is pronounced in Arabic, making it technically the correct way to say it. But O'Neill stated he once spoke to a university professor who said it should be Raish. So the answer is nobody fucking knows.
why should it be Raish? It's so weird because RAHS. I can't.
Did
I don't
you
know
hear what I said?
That's pronounced.
Did you hear what I
Raish.
said? University
I
professor.
know what you're saying.
Case
Why is
closed.
he right? But we did. Okay. What's he a professor of? Is it like
What are you a
fucking?
professor
Is he a professor of like economics or something, or is he a professor of like
Scientology.
something else that's completely irrelevant? It just sounds good because he's a professor to say it.
Are you asking me whether or not he had a copy of Dianetics behind him during this interview? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Man, does anybody remember those commercials from when we were kids? Like that's
Dianetics?
Dianetics from L. Ron Hubbard. Good stuff.
would've
Yeah, they were
loved
intense
it, probably.
commercials.
In the US.
What does a
I bought-
volcano have to do with Scientology? Is that virality? Like, is that like a
There is a thing about it, isn't it? Don't
Exploding?
they like?
All
Don't
the
they
souls, the alien souls
like?
went
The
into the
souls
volcano.
go into the volcano.
did they really?
No.
Yeah.
I watched the South Park episode.
No.
Me too.
Okay. I don't remember that. I remember the South Park episode, but I don't remember that specific fact. As an adult looking at it, I'm thinking that they're trying to project like, hey, if you become one of us, you'll
Power.
splooge like a volcano.
Sploosh.
Oh, well, I was thinking power, but sure, we'll go with that. And yes,
I mean, it's
volcanoes.
powerful. Yeah, powerful. Really powerful.
You've got the power. It's in your hands.
All right, then.
You guys ready to do some news? Like, do some
Yeah,
news.
please.
Oh yeah. I forgot why we were here. Yes.
So in other naming news, I was curious about this because I was going to say this on the heels of Sasha. Is it Kaye or Callie? And Jammer wasn't here to correct me last time, so I think I said Callie, but it looks like
Who are you
it should be
talking about?
Kaye. Sasha, Calle. I say Kaye in my head,
Yeah.
but I know that last week I said Callie, which is wrong. She is Latina because that was part of the big
Yeah.
news. So on the heels of Sasha Kaye being announced as Supergirl, we've got more super related news for you guys this week. So outlets are reporting that J.J. Abrams will produce a Superman film written by I should let Nick pronounce this. Do you know who he is, Nick?
No.
Ta-Nehisi Coates. So, which to Jammer's point on when we were talking about Malcolm and Marie kind of made me laugh because the fact that he's writing it, he's a black scholar and a black writer led to rampant speculation that Cavill was going to be out and someone like Michael B. Jordan or John Boyega were going to be in. And we've seen smatterings of the story throughout the years. And I think previously Abrams' movie that he wanted to produce, was it Superman Flyby? Is that the name of it? Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
And yes, yeah, it was a while ago. And separately, we know that Michael B. Jordan has met with Warner Brothers to pitch a Superman movie to them, and nothing had come of that. So what do you guys think about this news? Are you excited for it? Do you think it'll ever happen? What's what? Who's been gone the longest? Danny, you've been gone
Yes,
the longest. What do you think?
I know. I missed you guys. I had to work last week, and that sucks. I also need to earn some money. I'm okay. All right. I got stuff. I got opinions on everything this week, and all of it is right on the fence and boring as fuck. I'm not that fussed about this. I'm not excited by it. I think it's like a J.J. Abrams after what was that Star Wars film we did? Force
Rise of
Awakens.
Skywalker?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was it. That one? Yeah, no, not that one. I can't remember that one. I feel like it's a safe bet. I feel like it's here's a thing to make everybody happy, the mainstream audience is happy, not necessarily geek fandom, etc. And I don't think Superman needs that. I don't think Superman needs a safe bet. I'm kind of happy with these things going in alternate directions and different directions. And I know, as much as Nick's not a fan of Zack Snyder, I really enjoyed Man of Steel. I was interested to see where he was going to take that Superman, when he was going to eventually earn, even if he ever did, that Boy Scout kind of Superman that everybody seems to think is the only version of Superman. But I was interested to see that growth in that character. I don't feel there's a need to bring in another one, and certainly not like a safe action fest kind of one. Does that make sense? I'm not fussed about it one way or the other. I don't think it's needed. I think we've got enough great superhero stuff going on. And I'm talking more about him directing it, not necessarily another version of Superman or another take on it, another direction on it. I just think JJ's a little bit too safe and also a little bit too risky, because he might open that Pandora's box of questions that never get fucking answered, and then a sequel never gets made, and we all just left, well, what was all that about? Why didn't we ever get that? I don't understand that. So safe in the sense it will be a fun action film that will be easily popcorn fodder for a week, but also lots of complicated stuff. And I just don't think we need that. I'm happy with Cavill being Superman at the moment, and I would like to have seen how that developed. I don't think I'm going to get that, though. Do you? Okay. I don't think we're going to get that.
It's a whole it's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole part of this conversation.
And I could already see I could see Nick willing to explode at a fuck Snyder thing, but
the funny thing for me is I know that
he's giving giggles.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that like Nick is excited for Snyder Cut to come out because it'll be like he thinks people stop talking about Zack Snyder. Like, dude, they're gonna be like, oh,
this
Justice
is only
League
the
2.
beginning.
His face.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to block his name on Twitter. I've tried every variation of it. It still shows the fuck up.
It's because people type Zack Cinder by accident. You're like, God damn it.
Maybe. I can't figure out why. I still get every god. I tried it as
I love your serious reaction. Maybe I just can't figure it out, guys.
I can't.
Like,
I tried putting in quotation marks. I tried doing it as two separate words. I don't want to block just Snyder because I want to read about Scott Snyder, who I follow. Who's
here's what we should,
DC
what we should do is enlist the LRM readers to help you out. And so like all of them should just start spamming you Snyder stuff so you can try different permutations of your blocking. And then like when you get it, like you'll know that it works. So if you're out there, if you're listening and you want to help Nick out, just start sending him shit about Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
At Zach Geeky Nick, is that what it is?
At
What's your
Geeky
thing?
Nick Doll.
Geeky Nick.
Yeah.
At
It'd be
Geeky
nice
Nick
to have
Doll.
some friends. So
that you can block. But
Nick,
anyway, there you go. There's my take on it. I'm not
Nicholas.
excited about it, Jonesy. Not really. I'm not that fussed about it. Couldn't care less about JJ directing a Superman film. Another Superman film, give it to me. But JJ.
So that's the thing. I'm not sure that he is directing it. I think the news for sure is that he is producing it.
But I mean, he might have an eye to direct it for all we know. No,
What
you didn't.
else?
I don't think you did.
How would he pass it up if he's producing
Yeah, I don't
it?
think he would pass it up. That's the thing, is he's producing it. If it actually gets to a point where this could happen, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Because
He likes
I
big
will-
franchises
here's
and he
why.
got it before almost. So
Here's why. The reason why is because you have him as a producer who are, if the angle is true that they want a black Superman, I don't think they want the problems that come along with not casting, with not picking a director who is black.
But we don't know it's a black Superman. It could just be a
Right.
white
I'm
Superman
saying
with
if.
black
I
writing.
said if that's what they're angling for. But that's why I brought up Malcolm and Marie, because when we were reviewing Malcolm and Marie, one of the points that you brought up was you thought it was interesting how it is true that black directors, and you didn't say writers, but black directors, and even writers to some extent get pigeonholed.
Black filmmakers.
In doing black things where that's not true of Latino or some other folks. In this case, the fact that they got Coates as a writer leads people to believe that that is going to be the case, that it will be a black Superman. And because of that, if that's true, I think they'll have a hard time getting a white director, even letting J.J. Abrams direct.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's true. I mean, whether or not it's going to be a black Superman or, a Henry Cavill Superman or maybe a white, not Henry Cavill Superman, we'll have to wait and see. But like, I don't mind the idea of J.J. Abrams directing a Superman movie. Like, Danny, I think hit the nail on the head. It'll be a popcorn movie. Like that's what that's what I would expect from it. I'm sure it'd be fine. I'm sure it would be relatively crowd pleasing. It's not going to be closing off any sort of story. So J.J. Abrams doesn't necessarily have to. Well, I guess what's his name? The writer was it Ta-Nehisi? What's it? I don't have to look it up.
What's his name? Nick, you got to grill him for this.
Ta-Nehisi. Ta-Nehisi Coates. I mean, he maybe he could end things better than J.J. Abrams, but I mean, if he has his hand in it at all, we have potential problems there. But anyways, my point is that sure, it'll probably be crowd pleasing if he directs it. It'll probably be fun to watch. I'll probably enjoy it, whether or not it's Henry Cavill or not, whether or not it's the standard DCU or not. Sure, if it's a fun movie, I'll take it. Like I am not super upset about it, nor am I super excited. Either of those feelings will probably come once I see a trailer. Once I actually have something to sink my teeth into. But that's all I have to say. I'm done.
Okay. Nick, 2 questions for you. 1, do you want this to be like in the existing DC universe? And then 2, I saw that you said you wanted John Boyega to be Superman. Why?
Well, my first choice, this is actually interesting. I did an article early Breaking Geek's the written word of Breaking Geek. The Bible of Breaking Geek.
The old column.
The Bible
the Old
of
Testament.
Breaking Geek. The Old Testament. We've talked about how often I've predicted the future or given ideas to Marvel that they've stolen. I wrote an article about race swapping like 3 years ago and said that Michael B. Jordan should be Superman. And then people were like, oh, there's a black Superman. I was like, no, just make him Kal-El. Like, there's nothing unique about the Superman story except for landing in Kansas. Maybe people will be less likely to pick up a black baby. But I've always wanted Michael B. Jordan as a hey, they're more racist in Kansas.
God damn.
You might have to change that part of the story to like, I don't know. Although they just have to have black farmers fixed.
But couldn't that add into the story though? Couldn't that help?
Hey, John, I've always wanted a baby. No, it's black. Leave it behind.
We live in an
Kick
age
some
of
dirt on
white
it.
supremacists.
Kick some dirt on him and walk away. Let's get out of here, Martha. Sprinkle some dirt on him.
You know what?
At least if it was Latino Superman, they would just be like, "Hey, John, I wanted a baby." Well, I can't tell if it's white or brown, so yeah, sure. We'll see what it grows up to be.
If anything, it could work in the fields later.
God damn it, Nick! Why are you making all the racist comments today?
Oh man.
I was looking at through that someone else's perspective to a point where I forgot. Oh,
you're pretty good at it. I'm kind of worried.
Well, it's been a long. Yeah.
If I were racist, I'm not saying that I'm a racist, but if I was, this is what I would think.
Then I think you could do the issues that comes with having a black Superman also. Like just like Falcon,
so
aggressive black Captain America, where people are going to be like, especially today. But but I forgot what. So you were going to ask me 2 questions. That was the first part. Was Michael B. Jordan or John? No, John Boyega also would be great.
You'll get to there.
I was thinking about more.
Okay.
Well, the first part was.
Hold on a second. He asked you why John Boyega. Then he went into a deep discussion
because
about
I brought up.
Hold on.
Who's rumored now?
I know that, but why? But you talking about how you said Michael B. Jordan. I was waiting for that to somehow transition into why you think John Boyega, but now you're just like, oh yeah, John Boyega would be good now. There was no point to going into that story.
Those are my 2 top picks, and I was just saying because most people are guessing Michael B. Jordan now. It's like that was my idea forever ago, but
you're like, I've moved on to John Boyega.
No, I put the both. I think in or I tweeted one that said one, and I also tweeted or John Boyega. John Boyega is a great underappreciated actor, at least in blockbusters. I still feel like he got Star Wars, and then he's actually good in Pacific Rim 2.
Pacific Rim 2. Yeah, he's
good
the best part of it. Terrible movie.
Yeah, he's by far the best part of it. But
that doesn't get you any points.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like he has, I don't know, he needs a chance to like be a lead in a big action movie, and I see him rising to the occasion because I don't know. I think Finn's one of the more interesting Star Wars characters. And so,
I mean, he was.
Yeah, and that's why he probably shouldn't be involved with the J.J. Abrams version because J.J. Abrams will screw him over again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about they worked together.
But I was just thinking ideal actors to play Black Superman when that was rumored. I'm like, those two are the right age and both really good actors.
Okay.
So,
along with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, another great, perfect aged Superman. That'd be amazing.
What are you talking about? He could be Jor-El.
Superman.
He could be Jor-El. Could you imagine Jor-El? He'd be a boy. Are you fucking kidding me with that voice? Jor-El is just a voice. He's just a voice.
You don't have to do what they did in the fucking Snyder one and give us 20 minutes of Krypton and like flying
just
Avatar creatures and stuff.
I like that 20 minutes of Krypton.
Yeah, me too.
I like the music, and I really liked Michael Shannon. He was really good in that.
Yeah, Michael Shannon.
I will find him. That's it.
Part.
That's it. And the music blasting while it was happening.
Give me the timestamp.
1813.
Music so good.
Damn it!
Is that really? I'm gonna say 7:38. That's gonna be my guess.
7 minutes in. Oh,
7 minutes in.
Impressive. All right.
Hey, Jonesy, just on that, I have to say, buddy, my sister thinks you would make a good Superman.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
I think it's more because she's got a big crush on you, buddy.
Oh, that's cute.
When she
I'm waiting for this other shoe to drop.
When she comes in and I've just about to do a podcast, she looks at you and goes, "Oh, he's so pretty."
I can't tell if you're joshing. Are you messing with me right now?
I'm not joshing you, dude. My sister's got a huge crush on you, my man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Turning red.
Well, don't thank me. I don't have a crush on you. Fuck. I mean, if I was inclined, then maybe I would. Yeah.
Like the whole time, Joe's like, wait, for real? You're not joshing? When's the other shoe gonna drop?
He's like getting a little more red each time. He's just like, oh,
what's her number?
Okay,
I can give her my number. No, I can give you her number.
Sister.
When I say sister, I mean my penis. Okay.
So you bring up an interesting point about me being Superman.
Oh, sorry.
Not about your penis, about me being Superman. And the reason why I asked Nick about John Boyega was this. I think he's too short. And I think it's like it shouldn't matter because of movie stuff. But in my head, I know that he's only 5'9", which I think is 1.75 meters.
He's an inch taller than me.
Wait, how many feet is he again? 5 foot what?
5'9".
Okay.
I'm like 5'8.5".
I mean, yeah, he's no Henry Cavill.
He's average height.
Right, exactly. And so I'm 5'11", and I'm like, I feel like I would feel better in that role. Yes.
We live in a world where Ben Affleck was Batman, and then Robert Pattinson's now Batman.
And Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise.
But I'm not happy with, like, I loved that Henry Cavill was like, he's like 6'2", 6'3", and I think Ben Affleck is 6'4". And I love that. I like that, which is weird because I've had arguments with people about Gal Gadot being like 5'9", 5'10", and it shouldn't matter because Wonder Woman is basically made of clay and magic. So like her physical stature and physique doesn't matter in terms of what she can do. But that should be the same for Superman. So I'm hypocritical in that sense. So
yeah, that means you're human.
I am. But it made me think that if I were to pick someone, I would pick, I don't know if you guys have ever seen How to Get Away with Murder, but Alfred Enoch, who's one of the leads on that, who was also in Harry Potter, was the guy that I picked. The only problem with him, he's like a very long neck.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a long, he's
the main guy.
I guess he can get muscles. Yeah. I guess he could.
Yeah, just throw some muscles on him. He's 6'4", and he's younger than Michael B. Jordan. He's 6'4".
He does spend that entire show like this, though. This is terrible podcasting. Sorry, listener. Like this. He does spend the whole time acting like he's got.
I think it's because his neck is so long. Like it just, you know.
Yeah. But now I know who you mean. Yes, it's certainly got that imposing height on him. Like Jammer says, put some meat on his bones, put some muscle on him, and yeah.
I see him more as a villain.
Really?
I could see him as two roles, very different roles, and probably not now. It would have to be like in another 15 years. Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Or Obadiah Stane. I don't know why.
Just bald people. Just bald people.
Why.
Is that why?
That's so weird. He's not bald
really
though.
Weird. He could shave it. I don't care.
Okay. All right.
He's not bald. You don't have to be naturally bald.
I had a second pick. It probably doesn't matter because if height is not a factor, then my preferred pick would be Brandon Bell from Dear White People. Like the difference between him and Boyega is he already has that physique, and I'd be like, yeah, him. That's Superman right there.
And honestly, with Superman, it's the franchise, not the actor. So why would you pay for a Michael B. Jordan when you could get one of these cool people that you're talking about?
That's a good point.
It's true.
Yeah.
It depends on when you think you're going to be able to make more of those, because he's going to be busy. He's going to
Well,
stay
that's the
busy.
second part of the
Brandon Bell
question you were
before.
going to ask me, but got
I
lost.
looked at pictures.
I'm gonna
of
send you a
Brandon
picture.
Bell. That dude's buff.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's smoking weed.
I'm gonna.
Would you think?
Dear
What
White
would you
People.
think about
Cannabis?
What would you
Can
think about
inject
his Clark Kent though, Jonesy?
Which one,
Like a con-
Enoch or Bell?
Yeah, because I was thinking Donald Glover would make a great Clark Kent.
It's funny because that reminds me of what they did with Chidi in The Good Place, where he's a very cut, ripped dude, but they put him in his outfits and try to pretend like he's
would never
not
know.
like
Yeah.
really good looking. I'm like, dude, he's fucking cut. And there's one episode he's walking around without a shirt, and it's just like he looks like the
Whoa.
fucking Rock or something.
I just got.
Did
the
you ever
picture.
see the
Yeah, this
explanation
dude.
for that?
No, I don't remember.
So they said, like, why do you look like that? And I think they said something like someone dared him or somebody. It was like something that related to fear. And so he did a bunch of push-ups or something like that because he was afraid of something. I'm going to have to look that up. But I remember they gave an explanation for why he looked like that. And I was like, that's actually pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
You guys talk while I look this up.
Didn't you have a second part of a question for me? And I just racisted
I like
it up. and out?
Brandon literally said, "Give me a second. I got to look something up." And you immediately ask him a question.
Well, he had a
while he's
two-part
looking
question for
something
me,
up.
and I killed part of it by being racist.
I think the
That's
first
true.
part of it, Nick, was: do you think it's going to be part of the current DC universe, whatever that looks like at the moment? I'm not entirely
yeah.
sure what that looks like. But
Yeah, I
that
think
was
you're
the
right.
first
Like,
part.
yeah.
That thing's so much of a fucking mess. I don't even know how you get out of it now, unless you do a full flashpoint. Like I think we just may have discussed last.
No,
week.
you don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. It's already disparate. Like there's the Zack Snyder pocket verse. There's the offshoot with Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman and an Aquaman that's different from the pocket universe that
I
Zack
guess
Snyder
the
already
Suicide
did.
Squad is different, but they keep saying Birds of Prey is Zack Snyder's universe because it's the same Gotham. And it's like that movie.
No,
Could
I
be
don't think that's
anything
what they
less than a
said. They
Zack
said that
Snyder film.
it's his Gotham, right? They
Yeah,
said that
because it's his Gotham, it's part of the Snyderverse. Someone
No,
said. I'm
no,
like, bullshit.
no,
That
no,
feels
no, no,
nothing
no.
like a Snyder
If
film.
it's the same, if it's his same Gotham, it doesn't matter because things are different now. Because you could say, "Oh, Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, therefore it's his universe." It's not. It's different. It's a different one at this point because she gave
I
up on
didn't say it.
humanity.
I read it.
I'm saying you're wrong. I'm saying what you read is wrong.
I agree with you and not the person who wrote that.
But
I
my
was
point
pissed
is
to read
this: is that my point is that the Flash, you don't need a Flashpoint. Like people say, "Oh, you need to do Flashpoint." You don't need to do shit. You just need
You
to
do
keep making movies
Flashpoint
and do
if
whatever
you
you
wanna
want
connect
and
them.
not more.
I don't think. I
why
think
would you
don't
got
wanna
it
connect
so
it.
broken.
They
You
don't
treat
wanna
this like
connect
the Batman, and you don't connect it at all to any other character.
They already did the Flashpoint, or not? They said Crisis on Infinite Earths thing last year.
On TV, which no one watches compared
But
to
it's,
the movies.
it's canon. It's canon. So it's done. Done.
I don't know. Whatever. DC has fucked themselves so hard. I'm just like,
They
give me
really
Batman
haven't.
movies.
They
and I
make
they
won't
money
even
haven't,
with
watch
all
the
the
rest.
movies. They make money all the time. I saw this annoying post. Someone's like, Can Zack Snyder's Justice League save the DC universe? Why do people hate on the DC universe so much? Most of the movies are well rated. All of them except for Justice League make money. What are people on when they're saying it's a failure? I don't get it.
They had a
Because they're
chance.
not
Comparing it
critically
to
they're not
Marvel.
critically acclaimed. Yeah.
A lot
and
of
they
them
had
are
a
though.
chance. What? They're average. The average.
Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, Joker. Those are all critically acclaimed movies.
Joker's
Three of
not
them are
one
$1
those.
billion movies too, right?
Yeah,
But Joker's a
Joker's not
DC
one.
movie.
No,
It's a
no, no. We're
DC
talking
movie.
about no. We're talking about DC Universe, right? So
I mean,
like,
it's all the same universe.
No,
It's
no,
all
no, no,
different.
no, no,
It's
no.
all different.
No, I agree and I disagree. I think people are comparing. So I don't think when people make that statement, they're talking about Joker. I think they're talking about the other ones that you mentioned. I think that those reviews are good to average to good.
I mean, to
So
be
not
fair,
a
I
failure
think-
though, right? So it's not a failure, is it? I think most of the time they're just being unfairly compared to the financial success that
Yeah.
Marvel has had with their movies, and I don't think that's
But
okay.
they
That's
should
a
have
pretty
the
high
same
bar
success.
to me.
No,
Should,
no,
could,
not
Just
but
as
necessarily.
solid
yeah.
Just because
characters,
they're
but the
superheroes.
movies aren't good versions of those characters.
No, just because that's your opinion though.
Well,
and
no,
that's
I
just like
talk.
your opinion,
I
man.
forgot his on the
That's
site.
just like your opinion, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say that? Did you say it just now?
I did say that, yeah.
I was talking to someone on the site. I can't remember who it was. Someone. Oh, maybe it was a long time ago. One of the DC fans on Slack, and they were like, "I am as a DC fan, I prefer DC, but I'm pissed." I think it was maybe even James Burns. I don't know for sure. He's like, "I am pissed off that DC didn't get a chance to have what Marvel has because I want a DC universe where things are connected. They're not like." Now they're like, what is connected? What isn't? It's a multiverse, yes, but it's just, yeah, like this person was upset because they're not getting what Marvel fans are getting. And that's what the fan wanted, was a connected universe of movies that made sense. And it was basically just Snyder blew it up from the beginning, I feel like, just by doing Man of Steel when there was still a Batman franchise going at the same time.
Here's the thing that pisses me off about people say that. They're like, "Oh, I want this from Superman." You can't deconstruct a universe without constructing it first. Meanwhile, I don't want to see the Clark Kent fucking story again from the origin story. It's like, make up your mind. Do you want an origin story, or do you want, like, I don't see why we all know Batman and Superman so well. What is wrong with deconstructing them? We already fucking know. We know what a constructed universe is. Why not deconstruct it? That's fine. We don't need to have like a definitive built up shared universe before we could start deconstructing it, because these characters are a part of the pop culture zeitgeist. And
I don't disagree about that. I just feel like they don't have a connected universe because of.
I agree with that. I mean, it's not fully connected.
Other thing, it's not even Man of Steel's fault. Man of Steel's probably the best Superman movie you can make, honestly.
Is it?
Because it's actually, I don't know.
I'm
just not a fan of the character. They actually made him interesting in that. Where normally,
yeah, that's the thing.
I'm Superman.
That's why I agree.
Yeah, I agree too, because I never liked Superman, and then I saw that, and I was like, do I like Superman now? And because I thought he was interesting as a character, and I was interested in Zack Snyder's idea of just like starting him off sort of being unsure about whether or not humanity needs to be saved or should be saved.
So you guys are talking about this version of Superman. I'm curious, with this news, do you guys think that Cavill is out?
I think Warner Brothers realizes people like Cavill and we get him into some other projects. It's not the same fervor as Zack Snyder fandom, but there are a lot of people who are like, Henry Cavill is like the best we've had yet. He's my Superman, blah, blah, blah. I don't disagree with that, but I also still feel like a lot of characters have been nailed, even if it's taken multiple iterations. I still don't think we've gotten an ideal Superman actor. In the last however many years it's been. But I guess the final answer to your question for me is I'm not going to see it unless Batman's in it. That's like my new DC proposition.
Wait, the answer to my question about whether or not Cavill is out is you're not going to see it if Batman's not in it.
Oh, I don't think Cavill's out. But that was your earlier question where you were like
no, we're past it. We're done. No.
Here's the thing. Here's how I stand on it. I as far as Henry Cavill goes, if he's in this movie, I don't know. But if he's not in this movie, that doesn't necessarily mean he's out, because I don't think
the J.J. Abrams movie.
Yeah, like he could be. They could hire, I don't know, Michael Cera for this movie for all we know. But Henry Cavill could still be in a random other movie that is directed by some other person. So there's no
or Shazam 2 or whatever.
If Henry Cavill stays involved, I think we would expect that the story that he started with Man of Steel to continue. And if they're bringing in a new writer and a new producer, I would think that they weren't going to continue that and bring in their own version of Superman, etc. So I don't know how that would be, because I personally want to see where Henry Cavill's Superman from Man of Steel was going. I know we may get some of that with Justice League, etc. So I think that would be tough to keep him in that role and not expect a continuation of his story from Man of Steel. Not impossible, not tough, and maybe they can do it. Obviously, there's better writers out there than I am, but that's where I feel. In answer to your question, though, Jonesy, I think he's out of this new version.
Oh, this particular film. Okay.
Yes, yeah. Not to say he's out as Superman, like Jammer just said. There's potential there, especially with this multiverse thing that they've got going on, right? He could pop in and out of anywhere. Hell, he might even be in the next Shazam movie for all we know. So
yeah, okay.
But I think this version he's out.
And I think, like they said before with the Batmans, I think audiences are smart enough to have two different men.
Yeah, we're at
but will they want they want it. And I guess a lot of the sentiment I've seen kind of echoes some of what you said, Nick, about people saying like, no, minor, it's Cavill or no.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that actually lasts though. How much do you guys know about the Black Superman? There are two that I know of.
He's from Earth 3, right? Oh.
So there's one from Earth 2 and then there's one from Earth 23.
Is 23 the one where he's actually president of the United States?
Yes, that's Calvin Ellis.
See, if you do Calvin Ellis and the multiverse, then you could totally keep Cavill.
I'm going to acknowledge this might be racist, but is Earth 23 a nod to Michael Jordan?
I think it is.
Okay. Anyway,
I don't think that's racist. I do think that's...
I think it's racist. It's like, oh, he's a black Superman, therefore 23, therefore Michael Jordan.
Well, I think, no. So I would put it this way
that's why you made the connection. People.
I would put it this way. Superman has always been compared to, Michael Jordan has always been compared to Superman. And so when you look at the 90s Bulls, it was Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. And that was your Superman, your Batman, and Rodman. So those are your superheroes. So I think it's a nod that acknowledges where Rodman.
No, Robin. He's the Robin.
No. Rodman was his own superhero. Like they were like, no, you're your own dude with your like crazy
movie. Batman and Rodden.
Rodman. Batman and Rodman. There you go.
So I think it's a nod to the actual cultural connection between Superman and Superman. Superman and Jordan. God damn it.
Super Jordan.
Yeah, Super Jordan. Because he could fly. Like people talked about him flying. So I don't think it's racist if it is in fact true, which I think you're.
No, right. I'm not saying it's racist for them. It was racist for me to make the connection just because he was black. Mm-hmm. That was what I was saying.
No, I think you're right. I think that's it.
That wasn't Nick racist, so good for you.
Yeah, it wasn't Nick racist.
I wasn't abandoning black babies in the cornfield.
Low level. So then the other one that you have is Val Zod, who is the one from Earth 2. So a little bit different.
Wait, what Earth is the Because Earth 1 is not the one that's main continuity. I thought Earth 2 is main continuity. I don't know.
I'm unsure. I don't even remember. Yeah. So all I know is that Earth 2 is the one that had a war with Apocalypse. And so that's where Val Zod comes from.
I like how me and Danny are sitting here going, yeah, sure.
Like, yeah, whatever you guys say.
Whatever you say, I believe it.
So here's the last thing I will say about this, because I feel like this story actually spun out into a bunch of different stories over the past week. So Ray Fisher, who dropped a bunch of fresh allegations that WB is basically racist, talking about some things that happened while the movie was being filmed that he did not become aware of until last summer of 2020. He said that they only dropped this news to cover up for the allegations that he was bringing some of the stuff that was going on with Whedon. Do you guys think there's any truth to that?
Which stuff did they drop in order to cover it up?
So
Superman.
It is.
And
Superman.
They did something before too, didn't they?
So it's
right after his first complaints.
Yep.
I believe it. I believe it.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a very cynical person.
I believe the timing is no coincidence, but they could have been planning this anyway. But I don't. Okay. It's hard to say. I think there's truths in both.
Yeah, if it was, it was pretty fucking dumb considering that there all the conjecture about there possibly being a black Superman, right? Because clearly that just plays into it. It's probably not the right turn of phrase, but that is just going to highlight that whole issue somehow again. The positive side, they're trying to spin it, but then it just goes back to Ray Fisher's challenge. Now, you're about to go into that, I'm guessing, Jonesy, so you're going to go into the press release that Ray Fisher released?
So I wasn't going to read the whole thing. I know that Jammer sent it to us, but basically part of his statement talks about the fact that one of the executive producers, I don't remember, was it Johns? I think it was Jeff Johns. Mm-hmm. He said that they characterized him as an angry black man at the center of the movie. And that's why a lot of the edits occurred in Justice League, which I thought was kind of fascinating because...
Yeah, they said they don't want an angry black man in the center of the movie. Right. That's something they didn't want. And
correct. And he was saying that he did not hear about that until later.
This makes me wonder
okay.
if this was... Now, It makes me wonder this thing. Like this is like probably the first time I've ever maybe thought about giving them the benefit of the doubt. In that, I wonder if it was less of them saying, "Oh, we don't want an angry black man," and more of just like, "Oh, we don't want to maybe give in to sort of the angry black man cliche, considering we're a bunch of white people." Does that make sense? We don't want to like push that sort of idea of an angry black
that narrative. I don't think you would know that until you saw the Snyder Cut. Right, until you saw kind of how they portrayed him. Because if that's not the case, if he isn't angry throughout the course of the movie, then it sounds more like what he's saying is true. And the other thing is, I would give him the benefit of the doubt and saying, like, if he's not saying that's how he was portrayed, then I would be more likely to believe that that the meaning of those words was more that they cut him out of the movie because for whatever reason I'm curious what he was either saying or doing that would lead them to think that and say that. So
in the movie,
in either or, right? So what in real life was happening that would cause Johns to say that? I swear it was Jeff Johns.
Probably, because I know that the studio wanted to blame Joss Whedon completely, but Ray Fisher was like, no. It wasn't just him. It was Jeff Johns and it was the other guy as well.
Right. Berg.
I don't remember.
It's Berg.
Peter Berg? Nope, that's the director.
No, not Peter
John
Berg.
Berg. John Berg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating story. I feel like it's one of those things that we'll never really get to the actual truth of. But what I do find fascinating about it from a legal perspective is libel is a thing. Right. And if he is making shit up, they could go after him 100%. And I found it fascinating that the only thing that they seemed to reply to was him saying like, no, they're only releasing the stuff about the Black Superman to cover up for the stuff that is happening right now. And they were like, no, that's not true. Like an exec came out and said that that's not true. They have been silent to everything else, which I find fascinating. So, there's a part of me that kind of wishes we'll find out all of what happened, but as of right now, it's kind of hard to dispute some of the things that he's saying as we get like this little bit at a time, and it all seems to validate a lot of what he's saying, despite what Nick wants to believe.
It just has me more excited for the Snyder cut. I'm way more excited for the Snyder cut now because for me, I liked Cyborg a lot in Justice League for what he was. He was getting a lot to do with. He was good. I liked him.
One of the highlights, I thought.
Yeah,
but like But I just always, my mind always goes, I fucking rewatched that Hallelujah trailer so many times for Justice League. And the part that always like doesn't necessarily get me choked up, but it's close, is the part where Cyborg is like limping towards the camera and is like just hunched over. And I'm just like, that dude is tormented. Something's going on here. I don't know what, but he's just like, there's some deep shit going on with him. And I'm excited to hear what it is and how it plays into the overall narrative.
I do remember watching the theatrical cut and could vividly remember the trailer in my mind. I was like, where the fuck is this scene? Where is this scene? Where is it? And I definitely had my eyes narrowed watching the movie, like, what is going on? And that was strange and it's interesting. So again, I'm fairly certain that Zack Snyder has called Cyborg the heart of this film. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious what all of these edits and reshoots and all of this stuff make of that. Because I definitely,
well, as far as reshoots go, there's two things. Obviously, there's the Joker scene, and then there's another scene that he said that he wanted to get, and he didn't specify what it was. But yeah, it's just
they only shot one scene. That's what they said afterwards. That's what his wife said.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Zebra.
One new scene. Yep.
Snyder.
Zebra Snyder.
Zebra Snyder.
Yeah, Zebra.
Because like that's
Deborah.
It's Deborah. I don't know why you said Zebra.
Deborah.
It rhymes with Deborah.
So, I mean, because this is slightly off topic, but not really. Everyone.
Did you say oh no?
Yeah.
Everyone, I just feel like they're all liars. I mean, like they keep, they're just when it comes to what was shot and what wasn't shot. Like everyone's like, I saw the finished cut, and it's like, did you? Like,
I mean, they probably did see
there was a
the
4-hour cut before.
Yeah, there was.
He shot 3 hours of footage.
No,
so he
shot
shot
4
a
hours.
complete film.
Yeah.
4 hours of footage, because I imagine you were an hour's Joss Whedon stuff from the original film.
What are you talking about? No, he shot a whole movie that included a bunch of other stuff, and then the cut that he ended up with was 4 hours before he left the movie.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's just, but like everyone's like, no, he didn't. I don't believe it. I don't believe most.
Why doesn't it make any sense? He had cans. He had film canisters that are in his house that showed the runtime of the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh yeah, that cannot be faked. You know, like
why would he fake it?
Because there's this big, like, everyone's like, I saw the finished cut, and then it's like, oh no, we need 70 million to finish the cut.
It was freaking Aquaman. It was him. Wasn't it Jason Momoa who said that?
Ben Affleck said that. Like a lot of people.
Why would
like,
they
you guys
lie
are all
about that?
bullshitting.
I always assumed that it was a finished cut, but maybe some of the SFX shots were
like all the visual effects were done.
Yeah.
Not done pretty much. That's what it was. It was like it was a
That's all I felt.
picture mostly, and then he had an opportunity to go back. He's like, "Oh, I want to add this other thing with the Joker. Made this other thing over here," and then that's it. He says he added a total of like 4 to 5 minutes.
So it's like a Snyder cut, director's cut of the Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not calling it a director's cut. Well, I mean, they're making money out. I mean, people
Because it's not a director's cut. It's like it's like a whole different movie. It's like it's
so
like a
Jammer,
whole
if it was
thing.
finished, and I'm with you that there was a finished version. I just don't think it was obviously edited down and cut as in the final theatrical release version. They obviously are not going to put a 4 hour. I don't think they were going to. Why did they bring in another director to reshoot and not just
because they didn't like what he did.
Team?
They didn't like.
So
what
that's
he did.
and that's a genuine question. That's not a piss take.
Yeah.
So why not just because I know Zack Snyder had to leave, but the rest of his team, for want of a better word, his editor, his second unit directors, and his wife. Well, maybe not his wife. No, I take that back. But there was a team involved from Zack Snyder that could have, if there was that much of a finished version of the movie, potentially, made a theatrical release without bringing in Joss Whedon, et cetera, and that's a genuine question. Why do you think that was the case then?
So there's an answer. The answer, and I think it relates to another part of this J.J. Abrams news. Another theory about the J.J. Abrams Ta-Nehisi Coates release or announcement is because they're still not happy with what they got from the Snyder Cut. And so one of the other threads out there is that they just do not like this movie, and it's a vote of no confidence. So relate that back to the question that you're asking, and back in time, to Jammer's point, I just don't think that they ever liked this film.
Okay. Well, I don't think it was an interview. I think it was a video essay someone did on YouTube about why Justice League was so hated by the studio. Was one of the reasons they started shooting it 7 days after Batman v Superman came out. So like they had no time to react to people's criticisms or anything because he was already off and running with this. They gave him carte
he was only
blanche,
like I think 4 weeks into production at that point, which is pretty far into production.
Okay, already into production, which is even worse. He was like, "Oh shit, we can't autocorrect from the movie that split fans." Because
So from what I heard, they had like mandates and stuff. Like he talked about how he had to add jokes and this and that. Honestly, my biggest question: would it have?
I mean, I don't know. I like some humor in my movie.
No,
it
Batman
depends on the movie
rolling
you're telling.
around on the ground talking about his back hurts was not
I like
the
that.
thing.
It's like, do I
That's not
bleed?
gonna
Oh
do
yeah,
me.
I'm bleeding.
It hurts. Like, no, my back, I'm good.
Just imagine
No.
the Will Arnett Batman. It hurts.
I mean, but that did happen. That happened in Justice League.
It did.
So,
It did. But the way you did
yeah.
it sounded more Will Arnett-ish than it did Ben Affleck.
You know why? Because it's just that ridiculous in my head. That's what that scene was. So anyway,
Well, I got to pop out for a few minutes, so
Okay.
I will come back in. I feel like I could talk all day about the fucking Zack Snyder cut. All
well, it's
day.
too bad.
Me too.
Too bad. Because now we're gonna move on to Without Remorse. You know why? Because we're kicking you out without remorse. Goodbye.
All right, later.
Oh,
Back in a bit.
what a segue! What a segue!
I'm trying to get better. I'm like trying to think about like where do I want to go, and I'm trying
You've
to
been nailing it
for
today.
acknowledging that. So Without Remorse, this is going to be a April release that's coming out on Amazon. So Amazon has bought this film and they're going to premiere it exclusively on Amazon Prime.
Oh, they did buy it? I
They
saw
did
it was
buy
Paramount, but I also know they're doing all the other Tom Clancy stuff. So I didn't know
No,
if they
this
had
was-
some stake in owning Tom Clancy.
This was going to be a theatrical release, and Amazon was like, "No, we'll take that."
Does
So
that
it
mean?
stars Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, sorry. Does Paramount own all the Clancy then? So are they actually
I
working
believe
with
so.
Paramount to do Jack Ryan?
That I don't know, but to the best of my knowledge, all of the Jack Ryan movies have been Paramount,
That's
like
what I
all
think,
of the
yeah.
Jack Ryan universe movies, the Ryan verse, as it's colloquially called. Those have all been Paramount
Okay,
flicks.
so Amazon will
So-
lose all that when Paramount Plus finally gets the rights back.
Maybe.
Like I bet
don't
this
know.
would have been a Paramount Plus release if they were farther along in their planning when
Yeah.
this was purchased by Amazon. But
I don't know.
we'll
I don't
see.
know. We'll see. So this trailer just dropped this week for this film where Michael B. Jordan is playing John Clark. And so he is traditionally a Jack Ryan ally, CIA operative. And in this film, he is out for revenge for the people that killed his wife. Did you guys get a chance to check out the trailer? And if so, what did you think?
Yeah.
I'm yawning on intentionally. Sorry. Sorry, Nick. I'm going to jump in here.
You can't say you
No,
did
wait.
it intentionally and then apologize.
No, I'm sorry because I thought Nick was about to speak and I jumped in on
No,
it.
you,
and
no,
I
you,
apologise,
yeah,
Nick.
I'm looking up something
That was-
actually.
I'm sorry. Like I said at the beginning, I'm so on the fence again. This looked really generic to me. It just looked like super specialized soldier guy loses everything, survives, and then he's out for revenge. Yeah, then stuff happens, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch this. I'll no doubt be entertained by it, but it looks super fucking generic as one of these films that these stories goes. I saw nothing in it that we haven't seen before. The one thing that made me go, yes, this could make it from a boring 5 to a 5.5 out of 10 was that Guy Pearce was in it. I noticed Guy Pearce was in it, but he's going to be a generic bad CIA guy.
Yes.
Secretary
yes,
Clay is
exactly.
his character's name on IMDb right now. He's gonna be like the actor who plays Kittredge from
Yes,
Mission Impossible
yes.
is in Clear and
That is-
Present Danger. It's like my favorite scene where he's teaching him. He's like, you need to learn this phrase, Ryan. Like, what's the phrase? Like,
Immunity, qualified, not qualified.
no, the
immunity.
other one where he's like, I have no recollection of that senator. That's
Oh,
what he's like.
senator.
He's like, you need to learn how to say that. I have no recollection of that senator.
You don't have
Yeah.
one of these, do you, Jack?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see you
Yeah.
being that kind of character. That'd be awesome.
Authorization,
That's me,
President of the
Jonesy.
United States, to John Ritter to conduct. What was the name of the operation? Can't remember the name of the operation.
The one he had to go and stop, which also had John Clark involved.
Yeah, you don't have one of these, do you, Jack?
God, actress.
You know what's funny about that though is this story, like this is a Tom Clancy original, and so this is a book that existed before we got that story. It's the prototype. So I'm very curious.
The first one, was it?
This is before the
Like,
Jack
yeah,
Ryan
before we-
books in release also.
I don't think it's before. No, it is not before they released it. It
Before
was
the movie.
released with them, but
Okay.
it's before the movies. It's before like the story that Danny is talking about. Before that generic story that we all know was a thing. So I'm kind of curious from that perspective. Can the original story, like the book,
Yeah.
do something different? Doesn't look like it. I agree with you to some
yeah.
extent. Like
I was with you.
when I
then,
saw
Jonesy. I
Guy
was like,
Pearce, I was like, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's about yeah. I'm with you. That's exactly
him.
what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that it could be something different. There's potential there, but based on this trailer, it looks generic and it looks just the same as all the others. And potentially that could be disappointing because I'm not knowledgeable about the book. I'm not knowledgeable about this character at all. I'm interested now though to find that book or series of books. Is it Nick Jonesy? Is it
Yes.
Is it like a series like Jack Ryan's books, or was it
It's like a
one-off, or-
universe, really, too.
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
you have, like John
So
Clark has
all
his
of
own
those
books.
Because I love those the Jack Ryan books, and I got into those because of the first one with Harrison Ford, the Patriot Games. That was my introduction to this character.
No, that
So
was actually the
really-
second one.
No, for sure. No, I knew that, but that's how I knew about the
Okay.
character. So then I went.
Sorry.
Of course, we had. Sorry, no, I apologize. We had the
for Red
submarine
October.
one. Sorry, yes, thank you. Yes, but that one I didn't realize there was a link there until I saw Patriot Games. I thought, oh, that's Jack Ryan from that. I'm going to read these books because I had no idea it was a series of books at that point. So if this is a series, this new character, I think I'll probably enjoy the books a little bit more. This trailer
Well,
was.
As Cam was complaining about, he's supposed to be older than Jack. So
And
his
wider.
adventures when he was the age of Jack Ryan would have been set in the past, whereas Cam is upset this isn't part of the current Jack Ryan. thing, right? Because John Clark's older. That's why he's like, by the time you get to Rainbow, like, even when you watch Clear Present Danger, he's being played by Willem Dafoe versus Harrison Ford.
Who aren't they probably
Actually, they're about the same age?
The same age, yeah.
I thought maybe he's just older by the time you get to Rainbow Six, because that's pretty late in continuity.
Okay.
Actors that have previously done this. He's complaining about a thing that's already happened.
Cam.
True. Cam.
Yeah. I am confused about this. Just look at they call him Kelly in the trailer, and is there a reason for that in the book? Because he's listed as John Kelly on the IMDb, just like to say in the trailer, but the plot says
don't remember.
John Clark, a Navy SEAL.
I don't remember. So it was my mom who got me into these books, and so I read them when I was a kid, and I don't remember anymore. But I used to be in all those, so like Clear and Present Danger, Rainbow Six, Without Remorse. But I cannot remember why there's a difference in his name.
Is it something to do with his undercover name? Does he get a change in name when he comes back from his injuries, etc., and goes undercover or something?
Possible.
Does that doesn't ring a bell?
It doesn't. But here, let me tell you this. This will make you laugh. Harrison Ford is 78 years old. How old is Willem Dafoe?
He's younger than Harrison Ford.
65.
Jeez.
Damn.
He looks older though, bless him.
Maybe he isn't older in the books either. It's later down the time. Like Rainbow Six is when he's the older guy, and Chavez is like the Jack Ryan, traditionally John Clark aged guy. That's like his number one. Because Rainbow Six, I think we discussed on this podcast, or if you could write any project, what would you? Or like create any project?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
I would want, like I said, Rainbow Six Amazon series, because I don't think you can do it as a movie.
No, I'd like to see SEAL Team 666.
That actually sounds like that would actually be pretty good. That's a real thing?
That's a series of books, SEAL Team 666.
Huh.
A crack unit of ex and current serving SEAL operatives are thrown together to deal with the supernatural dangers that face this world.
Damn.
That's a set of his books. So it's SEAL Team, guns and stuffs mixed with supernatural demons and vampires and werewolves.
My brain went a completely different way. I thought they were like a crack team of SEALs that worked for the devil. Yeah.
No.
And then they were just like, you know what? It's like a Suicide Squad for the devil.
Nope, the other way. They're the good guys, Jonesy, and the bad guys are the devils and stuff.
No,
well, there is probably a Guy Pearce kind of character, in charge of the SEAL team that is also the devil, or something like that. But it's a real thing. SEAL Team 666. Maybe Jammer's heard of the books because he's back in the room, and Jammer's back in the room.
You're getting the East-West. He's never heard of this.
Well, there you go.
I think the trailer looks awesome. I agree that it looks generic plot-wise, but the actor and the Michael B. Jordan and the execution behind the trailer look.
Fair comment.
Maybe I wouldn't have seen it. I probably would have seen it at theaters, because as long as Jim's not in it, I watch
you have like these
Tom
weird
Clancy movies.
Pointed hate for people. Like they're just like these people who rub you along.
Very few people, but yes, I do.
You're normally so cuddly and loving and accepting of everything. You love any movie and stuff, and this is great. I enjoyed it. And then, like
Krasinski,
there's some
Snyder,
things I fucking
who
hate
else?
that guy.
Who we're gonna find this list. I'm gonna make this
Awkwafina's
list.
close.
What? Why?
Who?
Why? Aquafina.
That's a water.
What?
That's a Pepsi water drink where I live. Aquafina.
Also a comedian.
This is Raya in the Last
When you
Dragon.
review Raya, I was gonna say when we review that, you'll know.
That's why I'm waiting to see. That's the part of the movie I'm least excited for. Can't wait to get more Tran though.
Okay, listen, talking about that trailer, because I have no idea what Nick's talking about now. Talking about the trailer, I was not expecting him to get into that car once he'd set it on fire with petrol. That was
that part was dope.
How's that handle not hot? How's that not getting hot in there? What the fuck? I was not expecting that, and that was kind of cool. That was like, I'm going to get in and have a chat to you, but we haven't got long. I want to see how that scene plays out. Are they both going to cook in there or what? I didn't get that. But that was impressive.
Yeah, that is a cool take on typical.
I was not expecting it.
And I think from that perspective, I agree with Nick. I agree with both of you that it does look generic, but I agree with Nick in the sense that I think Michael B. Jordan has the ability to elevate stuff. And I think with his acting chops and intensity, this could be better just because he's in it. My fear is that, again, Guy Pearce playing generic bad guy, just like he was in Bloodshot. you'd be like, oh yeah, it's the same thing.
And
So-
Seeing that.
that other movie, Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Three.
Three. Iron Man 3.
Don't be shitting on that, Jam. I love that.
I'm the
Shut up, Jam.
Mandarin.
I like Iron Man 3 as well, but he was the worst part of it.
Yeah. So that's my concern.
He was like the most
I-
generic and boring part of it in a movie that I
that's
think
fair.
was able to go kind of fun and quirky.
Ole,
different.
I will say this.
ole, ole.
I think my biggest disappointment is kind of along the same lines of Cam, though, because I remember I was writing this article, and at this point, I can't even remember whether or not I published it. I was enjoying the Jack Ryan show. First season was really good. Second season was dog shit. Like
I heard the first
really
season,
bad.
I heard the second season was bad. I liked the first season.
And they
It's
say the plot.
I wouldn't
heard.
watch it. Well, they did, and that's the weird part. It was the beginning of Clear and Present Danger. Like,
Oh, it
the
was?
beginning of it was straight up Clear and Present Danger, and then it just went off the rails and was no good. And my article was going to be, all right, now that we've made a good second season, let's start doing a connected universe. Give me Splinter Cell, give me Rainbow Six, give me Without Remorse. Like, let's start branching out and making this a franchise for Amazon, because really the name of the game for streaming services is content, and there's no content better than a franchise. So let's do this. And they fucked it up because the second season was terrible. Now you also have Without Remorse. That's so now they're going the DC route, where you've got unconnected things. Where
That's how
for
Tom
me,
Clancy's always been. Like
No.
the two other Jack Ryan movies don't fit. The later ones don't even try to tie into the.
Sure, but the books
The
are
first
all
three.
connected, and here's
Yeah.
your opportunity to do it right.
No, I agree. That's how I would have liked.
And so
to see.
I would love to see like a Sam Fisher in there. I would love to see a Ding Chavez. Like, give me like all of those things, and that would make me more excited. And you could build towards an Avengers style event. And I'm not saying that because I need everything to be like Marvel, but I do think that the Ryan verse is a unique opportunity to
Mhm.
do that.
Maybe Paramount will do that when Paramount Plus comes out. That would be like a killer.
Yeah,
And you don't start with a show called Jack Ryan. You could start with a show called.
Well,
Clear.
so what I think that this
Yeah.
movie is, and what I'm hoping that they choose to do, is to make the movies that. So if you're not going to do it with the TV show, just make the universe a John Clark universe. So rather than focus it on Jack Ryan, you still get Rainbow Six from
Which I still think.
from this stuff. You still can get a Splinter Cell from this. So
Does he
I
ever
would like
tie
to try
into
to do
them?
that.
Because I know he's video game only, Sam Fisher. So do they show up in his games, or they're not really any?
Not that I.
But they're
recall.
all
I don't recall ever
Clancy,
seeing him.
so you can work it out.
Look it up.
Well, because
So-
like I think when I was talking about Rainbow Six last time we talked about it, they had a script at New Region. Well, the script that was around Hollywood, they just happened to have it in the script room I was at. They kept the character names like Chavez and Clark, and then it was Middle Eastern terrorists. And then they had a Splinter Cell script with Sam Fisher, with no sneaking around and just Middle Eastern terrorists, and him like driving cars really
That's terrible.
fast and like basically becoming Ethan Hunt or something. So they've been going about it wrong.
It's all about the sneaking.
Yeah, that's the whole point
Forever
of
and a
Splinter
day.
Cell. It was better than Metal Gear Solid for a while.
Oh, disagree.
I don't know about that. Yeah, Metal Gear
I think
Solid
the
3 is
first Splinter
probably.
Cell is better than most Metal Gears.
So in terms of no, Metal
terms
Gear
of
Solid
stealth.
1 and 3 are two of the best video games ever made. Period.
I like 2 where they Ryan Johnson does.
Fuck you. I hate you with a passion. Like, it's funny because I hate that game more than 5.
I never
Ryan-
played 5 or 4.
5 is fun, but it's not finished, and it shows. So
they were
3 was really good.
David
was
Hayter
great.
3's fantastic.
with Kiefer Sutherland in 5, as far as switching voices for Solid Snake.
You know what's funny is I
Yeah.
remember
Big Boss.
I was
whatever.
the one person back in like the early to mid 2000s saying if they make a Metal Gear Solid movie, Kiefer Sutherland should be him. Fucking
Snake?
his name. Snake.
Big Boss or Snake?
I mean Snake.
Isn't that always
it's
the
a
same?
Solid Snake. It's not the same.
Okay.
Solid Snake.
Isn't Solid
I
Snake a
always
clone
thought-
of Big Boss? So aren't they the same
Yes.
like actor?
But they're I mean, yeah, I guess. But yeah, okay, fine. Shut
Clone.
the fuck
It's not
But
even
yeah.
like a son.
up. You're right. But yeah, Solid Snake. Like I always thought he should be a Solid Snake. And then when I felt vindicated years later where he got to play the voice. I was just like, yes,
Nice,
fucking
isn't it?
won.
Have ideas
I
and then
won.
Hollywood uses it.
Yeah, it's really good. Except it wasn't Hollywood.
It's even better when
Yeah.
you get paid for it.
That's true.
Jam and I are making dimes off these
That's
No,
right.
we're not.
That's right.
franchises.
You guys ready to move on from Without Remorse and do a WandaVision check?
Yes.
So speaking of Nick giving Hollywood ideas, he called it. So last week he said that the last week's episode was going to be some of the Salem witch trials, even though you said Salem witch trials, right?
Yeah, and this is the way it's done in the comic too. I learned.
Right.
Where it's a reverse Salem witch trials.
Right. So it
it
was
is
a witch
Salem,
trial,
Massachusetts.
but not the Salem.
They trial
They MCU'd
themselves.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they MCU'd us where they took a thing from the comic book and they tweaked it just enough to make it work for their purposes. And we also got some Sokovia, which you also called, right?
I thought it was going to be a flashback episode for both of them the entire
It was.
time. Is what I called.
Good
Yeah,
enough.
it was.
entire
That's what
time.
I'm
Good
saying.
enough.
And then I was right.
That's right. That's right.
Because we've seen clips and we have to explore her trauma. Like we'd seen the stone, we've seen her transformation in one of the trailers. So I'm like, oh, so at some point there has to at least be a flashback. So why not do another flashback episode like episode 4 kind of was?
Okay.
Or jump back in time. Yeah.
So given that you're obviously the one with the Mind Stone, can any of the stones tell the future? Apparently not, because otherwise Thanos would be alive. Since you're the one with the Future Stone, how about you tell us what you thought of this episode and what do you think is going to happen this week? What is supposedly the season finale? Is this true? Do we think that
Really
there's another
quick,
secret
Thanos
episode?
Thanos wouldn't be alive because if Thanos would have been alive, he destroyed the stones.
The other Thanos.
Yes, but if he could see the future, like it wouldn't have played out that way. That's what I mean.
He didn't have this.
If there was
but
a stone where you could
but
see
I mean,
the
it's not
future.
like you could see the future and just like, oh, I experienced everything. It's I think you actually had to actively seek it out using the stone. And if he didn't actively seek out specific things, he wouldn't see it.
I don't know. It depends on what
Anyway,
you think.
sorry, Nick.
Yeah, how do
Continue with the
people see
question.
future?
It's my favorite episode of the series.
Really?
Because it really digs into like the meat and potatoes of what I like. Like I cried most of that episode. Like, 'cause you know things are gonna happen. Like you're like, oh no, it's her parents, and they're in their little apartment, and there's a war outside. I wonder when's the explosion gonna? Is it tension and sadness? Like, when's the explosion gonna happen? When's the explosion gonna happen? And then it happens, and I'm like crying and shit. And then, and then I cry again when Vision is talking with her about like that great love line.
Oh yeah, that was a great
Despair,
line.
but love persisting or whatever. Which
Yeah, what is grief if not love persisting?
oh my god, ugh,
Did you ugly cry?
Yeah.
That's the only way he knows how to cry.
Well, I just have like I just do tears in the rain. That's all.
Just single tear.
Yeah. Oh, but no, I
Tears in
really,
the rain.
I really enjoyed
nice.
it, and I really, it's interesting to see us go back. This is the farthest we've gone back in MCU continuity in the MCU outside of Odinson dropping off. So it's like interesting to see.
So basically, what you're telling no, it's not. It's not the farthest we've gone back because the Thor movies they always go back like thousands of years.
That's what I'm talking about. Besides Odinson dropping off the. That's what I just
No, it's
said.
not.
It's the
It's
farthest
not-
back
Yeah,
before.
he said beside Odinson. He said it. He didn't do
What do
the
you mean
thing that
beside-
she accused
Oh, I
him
didn't
of.
mean Odinson. I
He
should
actually
have
did.
said
He
Odin
actually hit it correctly.
dropping
What do you
off
mean-
the stone.
What do you mean by dropping off?
I mean,
the stone?
he drops off at the.
What about
so the
what about the dark elves and shit? Is that like not the dark elves? Yeah, from Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah,
That
that's
too.
also off planet.
okay.
You mean the frost giants too? I think. Yeah.
No, I mean the dark elves
Dark
from
elves.
the second one.
Yeah, that was present day.
No, the backstory was.
Oh, yeah, but
Backstory
that's
wasn't.
millennia ago.
Oh, I mostly meant Earth stuff. Like, yeah, Odin dropping off the Tesseract.
Okay.
And this being, I don't know. Shut up.
I'm laughing because I'm
Said
looking. I'm waiting for Jammer to pounce. Like he's got that look. He's like, just gonna wait for you to stop talking so I can say you're doing the Nick thing.
Anyway, great episode. Great tease at the end. I'm shutting up now because Jammer's a dick.
I am. I'm sorry. I really need to let you talk, but it's hard to because it's just there. It's waiting for me to pounce. No, but seriously, continue. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
That's all I have to say. It's my favorite episode. And then, I guess it was also cool seeing the way it actually went when she went to go visit Hayward versus what the footage showed. And just like the whole episode where it's like I can't feel you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and then just learning about chaos with Kyle being absolutely right and them using the whole comic terms. Like, 'cause yeah, in the comics, it is probability magic hexes, and then it's chaos magic. So
Yeah.
and just she gets her name after 7 years.
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't even notice she didn't get her name until they mentioned it at the beginning of the season. I honestly didn't even notice they never.
Most of them
said
don't have
Scarlet
nicknames.
Witch.
It seems like it's just Wanda.
A lot
Yeah, I
of
don't
them.
think
Well, I mean,
Quicksilver-
most of them don't get
Quicksilver
called
either.
by their nicknames.
Quicksilver couldn't use the word Quicksilver legally
Eh.
because of Fox at the time, which is why they didn't use Scarlet Witch, and I forgot that was a thing. But anyway, yeah, I think what was the thing you said before, Nick? I was gonna
Who?
piggyback off of what you said because I forgot what it was.
The body of Vision.
Oh yeah. So one thing I thought was interesting, I definitely thought, I was like, oh, motherfucker made up video footage of her stealing shit. But then I realized, no, he didn't make it up. He literally just cut away he used the footage that was there and just let it imply what had happened. And I thought that was smart because I remember going back to Kiefer Sutherland, one of the most annoying parts, and I think season 6 or 24, I think it was season 6, where there's this video footage of him like killing some people and they zoom up on his face and it's clearly him. But then it turns out, no, it's not really him. It's just some guy pretending to be him. And I'm thinking like, how the fuck did they do that? How do they make it look like him? And it's never explained. And that's what I thought this was. And it wasn't. It was literally them just using the footage and then letting us
Like
fill in the
pieces.
blanks. Yeah.
Like her blowing open the door, but not her talking with the guy who's like, I'll buzz you in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Um.
Danny, what do you think?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Don't ask me.
That's fine.
Oh, then I
Oh,
really
yeah.
have no idea what's
No,
going to
because
happen.
I know
next.
that you didn't like it.
No, you're wrong there, Jonesy. It was all right. It was like every other fucking episode of this show. It was all right. It's got me interested enough to watch next week, tomorrow, but it's not got him. I'm sad to say, Nick, I do understand sometimes getting emotional with films, but I didn't cry in it. I thought that's a great piece of acting. That's a nice line. Anyway, what's for lunch?
Yeah. I
I'm
think
like just plowing on with it.
Jonesy and I talked a bit about this last week, how the biggest problem with this show for me is it's kind of like what waves on a beach, where it goes like and then loses momentum and it goes a little further, but then not quite, it goes back. And then it doesn't seem to ever get quite far enough to like scratch the itch that I'm itching, that I'm feeling. You know, it's not quite far enough. It's not quite as satisfying as I had hoped it would be. And it feels like, and I'd criticized people in the past just saying like, oh, I want an hour, give me an hour long show. And I'm like, let the show be what it is. But this one, I just feel like
This one.
the episodes aren't long enough to be satisfying for me. And every single episode, I'm like, all right, we're going. And then it's over. I'm like, ugh. And then the next episode doesn't really continue. It usually has to restart because either it has to restart the gimmick or it has to have a flashback or something. And I'm just like, come on, just give me the thing. And then it doesn't quite get there. I appreciate the ambition of the show. I appreciate all of the separate aspects of the show. But I mean, it's just, I just feel like it needs more. There's not quite enough for me character-wise to sink my teeth into most of the time. And it is weird because it doesn't feel like we're entering the end. It doesn't feel like we're entering the end of a series. It feels like we're maybe halfway through, to be perfectly honest. Like I feel like there hasn't been enough of like a climax or enough of a build up for me yet to feel fully satisfied. Maybe that'll change next week. Maybe that 50-minute episode that hits will like be like, all right, you know what? I'm good. I was completely wrong. I'll totally be down to say that. But right now I'm just like, it feels very like it would have to be pretty heavy on the back end in order to be satisfying for me.
Yeah. And I think I'm kind of there with you. And I don't know if you guys saw this quote from the director. It wasn't necessarily about the length of the episodes and the things that we're talking about. It goes more to the theories. So the director, Shackman, whose first name I don't recall right now, he said, I hope that they feel that the journey was satisfying for them. I know there are so many theories out there. There will be a lot of people who will no doubt be disappointed by one theory or another, but we're always telling this story about Wanda dealing with grief, learning how to accept that loss, and hopefully people will find that the finale is surprising but also satisfying, and that feels inevitable because it's the same story they've been watching the whole time. So 2 questions on that. One, what do you guys think about just that quote itself? But then the other one is Vision going to make it?
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it.
Go, Nick.
I don't think, as a person who obviously has had lots of theories that have evolved because I do a whole podcast about it, I'm not married to any of them as far as like, I don't think if it's a bad episode, it's a bad episode, but I won't be disappointed if none of my theories pan out. Like if we don't see Mephisto, whatever.
That's a good fan. That's a good fan right there. Everyone look to Nick Dahl. That is a good fan.
You get a pat him on the head. That's a good fan.
Yeah, pat him on the head.
I mean, it's like a different thing with like Star Wars or even in like if they screwed up Endgame. But this one, it's like,
Wait, why is it a different thing for Star Wars?
Because Star Wars is so much built up and you do expect certain things from like, they got to end everything.
This is a bad fan. This is a bad fan, everyone. This is a bad fan. Don't be like that.
I forgot how much you loved Rise of Skywalker.
No, I didn't. I didn't like it because it was bad, not because it changed things. That's different.
You know what's funny? I love that over the last. When did the movie come out? A year ago at this point?
A year and a few months, yeah.
Yeah.
So I love how Jammer's opinion of Rise of Skywalker was like here, and it has just gone. It was never up here, right? It was never high, but it was like it was fine, and it has just gone down. And
that was
like with more and more reflection, he's like, "Fuck this movie, fuck this movie, fuck this movie."
Because I came out and I was like, I didn't like it or dislike it. And now I'm like, fuck that movie.
Well, I mean, for me, like I actually was entertained for the first half. And then the Doctor Who bullshit at the very end with like the opera scene crowd. And then the freaking Emperor being, puppeted by a freaking rod. That was just not, I was not about that life.
And to answer the other part of the question, I think because you want to have Vision going forward, because he's, you also like Paul Bettany, he's a cool guy. They have said in the past it'll be a sad ending, so maybe he does die. But the way they're setting it up, it feels like they'll be able to put Vision's personality into that actual body that was rebuilt by Hayward. Then again, he'll have no memories from before, but he'll have the personality that she recreated. And boom, we'll have an Avengers ready Vision again.
I get the feeling that that's going to enable to keep what's his name, Paul Bettany in the role of Vision, but without the need of Vision having to have the Mind Stone in his head. There can be his personality in a body. Then we can have a story of him slowly coming back to the Vision that we know and love. But that means that they can skip that part about him being reliant on one of the Infinity Stones. That's exactly what I thought when I saw White Vision or whatever they're calling him in the show coming to the end. I thought, this is how they're going to keep him in the show. Fantastic, because he's a great actor, and in this show he's been fantastic. Him and good grief, it's too late for me now.
Elizabeth Olsen.
What's the girl's name? Thanks, Jammer. Those two have been fantastic, and so I think it's good. That's my feeling as well, Nick. I agree with you, young sir.
I've got a question and a comment based on what you two guys said. The comment is, I feel like. Well, actually, I'll ask the question. The question is, based on what we've seen in the show so far, so how she created Vision, basically from her memories or whatever, what was Haywood or is it Haywood or Hayworth? I always forget. Haywood.
I think it's Haywood.
Haywood.
Because we don't know.
We don't know.
What is Hayseed tracking inside the hex? Because remember, they were like, he's tracking the decaying vibranium. But if it's not actually vibranium, what's in there? And then the comment is about the sadness. I almost wonder if a sadder ending would be if she was able to allow him to survive in that body. But like you guys said, those memories don't exist and they're just not together in that way anymore. Like, what would be worse?
He wouldn't like her
lose him altogether.
Everything he's seen.
Well, I don't know if it would be that, but it was just like, for whatever reason, all of it doesn't transfer. Something like he's just not the person that she knows him to be, and for whatever reason, they don't last because of that. I feel like that would be just as bad, if worse. But sorry, the question is that a plot hole? What were they tracking?
I mean, we don't know yet. That's the thing, is there's so many little questions like that, like little logic questions that I'm like, they're gonna have to like throw out a lot of answers for me, because I don't understand things like that. Like, how does she create it from scratch? And if she creates it from scratch, why does he need to exist within the hex if she could just create something from scratch? I don't quite understand. It would make more sense to me if
explain to kids too.
Yeah, and explain to kids. Like, there's a lot of things that need to explain. I'm not ready to declare them, issues just yet. We'll see how it turns out. But I'm with you on that. As far as I hope they answer it.
Well, in the end, what Hayward got what he wanted, even if it was maybe he thought he would get it from Vision coming out, but he just wanted that magic so he could. That's the element he needed to wake up his Vision. Was the chaos magic.
Why did Haymaker need magic in order to wake up Vision?
That's what they say in the show.
I know that, but I'm just curious, like, why? Like, what is it about?
Because
they
it
just
has
need to be
Infinity
outside the
Stone
hex?
residue in her.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It has residue. That's the logic that it's.
I mean, her
Infinity
powers
Stone
are
residue.
not imbued.
Yeah, I think it's
by,
the same background
amplified by the
radiation.
stone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same background radiation they all give off.
Yeah.
So I mean,
creates
technically,
vision.
okay, but it's not necessarily the same memories. Okay. Okay.
Doesn't explain what they were tracking in the hex, but
Well,
it doesn't.
I think he
but,
was
you know,
tracking
we'll see.
Vision in case Vision was able to go through the wall. I think that's why he was also
Yeah, but
letting him
how?
die, is they'd scoop up some of that energy and give it to
But how? If it's not
Yeah,
the
the question is
vibranium,
how. Right, exactly.
I don't know.
Darcy specifically said he's tracking. Darcy said that he's tracking
Does he have
background.
an iPhone? Did he have an iPhone? Because maybe Bill Gates is tracking him via his iPhone. Has he had the vaccine?
No.
Maybe
Darcy
maybe tracking his
said.
vaccine.
Darcy said decaying vibranium. She said
it.
words.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
And that's how they were like, oh, he's on the edge of town.
Right.
Now, the only other thing that I could say to that is maybe there is something else on the edge of town that was not him.
Ooh.
I don't know what that would be.
That is also decaying vibranium. Is that what you mean?
That's the only other explanation I could give. That would be
Maybe there's a Black
sequences,
Panther
but
suit in
I
there
don't think that
somewhere.
makes sense.
Or the other half of Cap's shield.
The other half of Cap Shield.
Maybe. Who knows?
Cool.
Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say about the WandaVision check before we
Really quick, I like his quote because I don't never like the idea of people being like, oh, it has to be this theory, otherwise it sucks. I don't like that. Also, I have to call out this outlet. I know that was an Entertainment Weekly quote, but I ended up on this other site, elitedaily.com, and they have a terrible title. The WandaVision director's quotes about finale theories is V disappointing. What the fuck does V disappointing mean?
Venereal disappointment.
Vision.
Why is V disappointing? What the fuck is that? What is that?
Because they don't have you as an editor, Jammer.
Dylan kick him. I want to Dylan kick you for making that title. I'm kidding, Dylan. You're probably a very nice gentleman. Or is that it could be a girl's name too? Is Dylan also a girl's name? Is that a unisex name?
Well,
like Dylan Farrell.
Dylan or Dylan?
Or Dylan. Dylan. You're probably a very nice person.
Dylon. Well, Danny was the only one who got that. You guys suck.
I know what that is. What is that?
So it's from Dave Chappelle.
Wow.
Cultured slut.
It's been so long since like 2002 since I've seen Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, and you know what? The shit's still relevant. So I don't like about it is watching it. It was like shot on fucking mini DV back in the early 2000s. It looks awful, so I don't watch that shit anymore.
There, all it needed was a banana waving right there, and that would have been it. Jammer, get your sandwich.
So I guess I do have two more questions before we move on to this. So there was talk, I think specifically from Elizabeth Olsen, about a Luke Skywalker level cameo. That was not Evan Peters, right? Is there still something out there?
After, I wouldn't be surprised if it was White Vision.
So is it Doctor? No, both. That's not. No,
it was an actor. It was an actor.
Is it Doctor Strange? It can't be Doctor Strange because that's not That's not Luke Skywalker level. So who is it?
The only people I can think of that are Luke Skywalker size, as far as surprise, would be like someone dead,
Thanos,
or Ultron.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, it's not going to be.
Ultron was good. I didn't. Luke Skywalker. Actually, I heard this rumor. Actually, no, that's not a. It's not a rumor. It was a theory. But it makes no sense now.
It'll be voiced by him.
Yeah, but then I realized that they've worked together, so it doesn't count. It doesn't go along with this thing because he mentioned it being a rumor that of somebody that he's wanted to work with for years, right? That's what Paul Bettany said.
They basically confirmed it this morning that he's talking about himself on Good Morning America. He was like, it's not exactly like he didn't come out and say it, but it was very heavily intended this morning that he wanted to act with himself.
That's amazing. I hope that's true.
Vision.
I hope that's true.
Because that would be hilarious.
That would be
they're going to meet,
funny.
right? There's going to be some sort of clash. So in that, he will be meeting himself.
I've always wanted to act with
his same character.
Paul Bettany.
I would love if he was voiced by James Spader.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
He's been rumored voiced to be in the cast forever, but so plenty of other people who haven't popped up. So
yeah. Also,
you mean
the other
Jonesy? You mean White Vision being voiced by James
Ultron.
Spader? Ah, cool. Yeah. Now, Is that Luke Skywalker level? I don't know, but
No, I
that
don't
certainly
think
is
so.
pretty fucking cool. I don't
Mhm.
think that's at that level, but that's a pretty cool.
Really quick
Um,
before we end this vision
intro.
check,
Mm.
I have to say something.
Wait, I had one more thing.
Okay.
I had one more thing. This is the last thing, and then you can do the last thing. Last thing is, I
An
need
ultimate.
this to end. Yeah, I need this to end with like Doctor Strange running up like a Back to the Future style, like Doc Brown, like, "Hey, Wanda, we can save your kids. We can save your kids. We just have to like," and then
What's
a
the problem?
thing pops up. Yeah, and then it's
What's
like,
the problem,
we
Doc?
can
It's your
fix this.
kids.
They're assholes, Wanda. I would love if, and then like the title screen comes up and it's like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I need that. Sorry, go ahead.
And then he grabs
love
her.
that
He's like,
too.
"Where we're going, we don't need roads," and he flies off with her in his.
We don't need Infinity Stones.
Yeah, that's what I'm really fucking tired of. Nix the Infinity Stone stuff from now on. Saga's over. People are
What
still
I,
theories surrounding the stones. It's like, shut up.
We can't forget we need the Doctor Strange accent where he talks like this. We has to talk like
I
that.
can't do
Wanda, we need to go to the future. He sounds
It's based
weird.
off Harrison Ford, he said, his American accent.
What?
I can hear it. Unless he's trying to do.
I'm trying to
He's
picture it.
trying to sound
I
like-
got nothing.
He said that that's what he based his accent off of, was he watched a bunch of Harrison Ford movies, which he's probably watching
Get off my
anyway.
plane.
It's like the typical
No.
American voice.
No.
It really isn't.
His isn't, but like Harrison Ford's is.
Interesting. No,
I
but
just don't think he's doing it very well.
so I have to say this. I have to say that
I can kind
rewatched-
of hear it. Sorry. I started thinking of Temple of Doom. And the scene that I was thinking of was where he's saying to Willie that he's going to have sex with her and he's talking about the nocturnal activities. Like something about that scene, I can hear it there, but that's not how he always sounds. Like that's like a snippet. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I
Go on,
rewatched Age
Jammer,
of
the last
Ultron.
thing.
Age of Ultron.
You like it better now.
I do like it better. I like it better now than I did before. And I want to make sure that I'm clear about this. I think it was bolstered by previous movies, not because it properly foreshadowed anything, but because everything else after that made sure to refer back to it in effective ways. So yeah, I think it's better. As to whether or not it's better than Joss Whedon's Justice League, I'll be watching that in the coming weeks. I'll report back after I watch it, since I'll watch them in pretty close proximity because I've
So give it a
infamously
letter grade.
said,
So from a what to a what? Did it go from like a D to a C plus or like what?
it
what
was
we at?
never
What
a
are we talking
D.
about?
No, it was
I don't
probably
know.
like
I
a
don't know.
C. It was probably like a C.
And
C.
now?
B minus.
It's
But it's
fine.
good. It's entertaining. It's
I've
entertaining.
convinced multiple people, including one of my most discerning film fan, like one of my most in real life, not on
you
the
talking
internet
about me?
world. No, I'm not. A guy I worked with at the movie theater is like, very picky about his movies. Like he hates some of the Marvel movies. He loves some of the others. He's like watching Killing of a Sacred Deer and the strangest movies he can stream.
Is he actually watching somebody kill a sacred deer? Is that what's happening? Is that how amazing of a film fan he is?
No. He's watching the movie from the
I
director
know
of
what
the
you're talking-
Lobster comics.
I know what you're talking about.
I
Continue.
know. But he's one of like 4 or 5 people I convinced that Age of Ultron is better than the first one. Nothing happens in the
I think it's
first
better than
movie.
the first one.
Not better than the
No,
first one.
I think the first one's more entertaining though.
Yeah.
Video game side mission
I think-
side.
I will say from a fan perspective, I don't think that the second one is as thrilling. It is, I like it, and I think it's good. I never felt the way Jammer felt about it. Like I enjoy Age of Ultron,
Yeah.
especially because they were filming it where I lived at the time. What I do think that the first Avengers has over it is something that I don't think anything except for Endgame could do. It just had more fan pleasing moments.
And it's
That's
like
hard
magic.
to replicate. Yeah, that's
Like,
that's
the first
what I
time
mean.
we saw those guys and we were like, oh, but I think
Yes.
taking out that and looking at the scripts and the story, I think. Ultron's
Yeah,
better.
and I would even say comparatively, Age of Ultron tried to do similar things to that, and it made it worse. So like that scene in the beginning where they're attacking the base and they all jump over the
Single
fence
shot,
in slow
yeah.
motion, that looks fucking dumb. And it's trying to replicate the moment from the end of the first one where you get the
Mhm.
the Michael Bay. So there are things that
I
did
thought
that just
that
made it
was at the
worse.
end. That's what they were doing at the very
Well, they do
end.
it twice, where they're like, we
they
need
do
to get
it
all the
twice.
Avengers in one shot.
Yeah, that one where they're like fighting back to back to back to back, and I
camera's
thought
like,
that was cool. You know what? The one thing I
That
didn't
was
like
cool.
is that it didn't use the Avengers theme song. I don't know why it didn't use the Avengers theme song.
Did it not?
No, it had this one like dun 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 dun. I was just like, what the hell is this?
Okay,
music?
now
Like,
it's
weird.
now that it'll never be as good as the first one. Then.
They have two composers on it. I can't remember who the other one is, but Danny Elfman like was brought in to do music.
It's an Alan
and
Silvestri.
Alan Silvestri, right?
Did he do Age of Ultron too? I know he did.
He definitely did the first one.
I thought he was brought back after doing no Marvel movies. He did
Okay.
He did First Avenger. He did Avengers. I thought he wasn't brought back again until
Maybe you're right. Let me see.
Infinity War. But only some of the tracks are by Danny
Brian
Elfman.
Tyler. Brian Tyler and
who's
Danny
done
Elfman.
who's done a lot of other Marvel movies, but they brought in Danny Elfman to fix parts of his that they didn't like because the level
Yeah, but
of.
I'll report. But anyways, I infamously said that Justice League was more entertaining than Age of Ultron. I'll report back because I'm going to be revisiting that Justice League movie in the weeks to come. I didn't say it was better. I said more entertaining. And I will say there's like a good 45-minute chunk in Age of Ultron that is still boring as ball sacks.
Yeah, I also hate the relationship between Black Widow and Hulk. So
yep, I hate that too. Yeah, it
One
comes
the
out of
best
nowhere.
ongoing jokes.
It's going back to a C. I can see Jammer's scores going back down to a C now as we remind him of the bits we don't like.
I'm gonna stop talking.
It's like here's the thing.
It's
I have to specify. I think it's a lower B- than Infinity War is because Infinity War is still a B- for me. But
really,
it's a higher B- than Age of Ultron.
huh?
Like a B.
Interesting.
No, it's not a B. It's a higher B-. That's what it is.
Okay.
B minus plus.
And for those who don't know, I think I would consider the Avengers to be a B+ and Endgame to be an A+. Boom.
Really, that's fascinating. I need to sit down and actually do. Yeah, I need to sit down and do this.
I rewatched. I think Endgame is the Avengers movie I've watched the most. Like I just like you know what I'm gonna start watching it. I watched Endgame and I just started and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm here for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, keep going.
I just like sit
keep
back
going.
And
It's
happily
the longest,
so.
so good.
Yeah.
And it's been out the least long, but yeah, it's definitely
It's
the
just
Avengers
so
movie I've seen the
engaging.
most.
From the get-go, just like everything, like they managed to pull at the right, the right heartstrings and to get me to care about the right things in the moment. And it just, as great as Infinity War was, because I still think it's a really great movie, it was just kind of like events happening and then crossovers happening, but without like a lot of emotional investment for me.
Yeah. I think that helps Endgame. I always like to think that was intentional. I mean, very intentional, that we're going to build you up to something, but we're not going to quite pay it off as much as we will in Endgame. And in Endgame, they did it all so fantastically well. I still, talking to Nick's point earlier about a tear coming down my eye, every time Cap gets that fucking hammer, I choke up a little bit. And how many times have I seen it happen? I know it's fucking happening. I know it's coming. I know what happens afterwards. Doesn't matter. Every time that flies, I just take myself back to seeing it on the screen that opening night and how the whole audience in the theater just erupted and stuff, and that kind of takes me back to that. And no other film can really do that. That's why every time, like you, Jam, every time it goes on, I'm happily to sit in for the next 2 or 3 hours. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm invested.
And I think scenes like that are the reason why I said the first Avengers and an Endgame. Like it's hard to replicate that because that moment that you're talking about, Danny, it's hard for me to think of moments like that in a theater. And oddly enough, the other one that sticks out of my mind, and I know Jammer's going to lose his shit, is Attack of the Clones. There are 2 moments
Yoda
during the fight with Duke. Yep, that's it. When people lost their shit, it was that.
I lost my shit in theaters too. When Yoda freaking went, and then didn't use his lightsaber.
I was like, this is
starts spinning around illogically. No. I liked it back then because fuck it, it was awesome.
I liked Jar Jar back then. By the time I got to Attack the Clones, I was like, God, these movies suck.
What was
and the scene where
video?
Hayden Christensen used 2 lightsabers at once, like for whatever reason, like people were like, like
because it was new. Then.
Lost their minds.
It was new.
It was new, and it was cool. Like I unlike some people, I actually like.
But have a guy force project himself across the galaxy to another planet, and everybody loses their mind.
Moving on.
Moving on. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to talk about other movies that people hate.
After a lifetime of being the world's most famous enemies,
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3.
Tom and Jerry are about to start over
Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah.
in the big city.
Ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gotta blame it on the goose.
This hotel has been host to 4 presidents, 3 popes, 2 kings, and we're about to host the wedding of the century.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and
The
Jerry.
1992 version.
Yeah.
I
We've got a
watched.
movie review. Tom and Jerry, you love that movie, huh?
No, the 1992 one.
I know. Not surprised. Not surprised. I want this on record. Jerry Mouse is an asshole.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Such a dick.
He's a dick. Like,
Such a dick.
Is that
Like,
way
when
in
I was
the
a
show?
kid-
Yeah.
when I was a kid and I watched it, like, I don't think I wasn't an adult, obviously, when I say I was a kid. Like, I had no real concept of what it means to be. It was just like a mouse, right? And it was this bigger cat messing with him. He's a dick. Like, he's a complete
He's an
asshole.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I thought he was. I literally thought there was a point where I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. He's the villain," and then they kind of went a different way. But like, there was a point where I was just like, "They are going all in on him." This is like Scrappy Doo situation. Like in, I think it was the second Scooby Doo movie where he was the villain.
that's the first
That's
one.
the first one.
Was it the first
First
one?
one.
Okay. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we?
I remember because it's the only
Yeah,
one I
it's
saw.
Okay, because I had only saw the first one, but I think I remember it. I don't honestly. I actually didn't realize that I had seen the one where he was the villain. I just remember that being the case based on reading things, but apparently I had seen it.
Okay. So this film premiered on HBO Max this past week, and it premiered also in theaters. So it received a 6.6 on IMDb and a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. However, that did not stop it from amassing $38.8 million worldwide.
What was the
It
budget?
did like
of it, though?
13 in the United States, which they said was really good for a movie during the pandemic.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was shocked. I don't know what the budget was.
I'm looking it
So,
up.
Probably helps that it's a
So-
family movie versus
that
Wonder
always
Woman.
helps.
because you
They're
have
just
extra tickets being sold and you want to get your kids the fuck out of the house finally.
So the
Yeah,
budget
they're
of this
complete
movie,
dog shit movies.
according to Deadline, do you guys want to guess the budget?
50,
25.
80.
50 million.
Nick, ding, 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 $79 million.
Holy
Jesus
shit.
Christ. It's expensive. Is it all Michael
Yeah.
Pena?
No, Ken Jeong
probably.
is so popular right now. He's so hot right now.
It was so weird when I saw him in this movie and he was barely in it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. We'll get there.
Spoilers.
I do want to give you all a fun fact before we get into reviewing this movie. So I did not know that this was directed by Tim Story. Like I knew nothing about this movie up until the point where I think it was Nick who was like, "Hey, let's review this." And I was like, So apparently Tim Story used to be a rapper. And
Oh, really? Is that why
Yes.
he's a rapping pigeon?
Yes.
Oh, that was him.
And he was on Ice-T's record label, Rhyme Syndicate. His rap name was MC Taste, so I'm laughing because I forgot the other part of the story. The reason why he stopped rapping was because his friend was killed in a gang shooting.
Oh,
So then he went on to
Fantastic
become a
Four.
creative yeah,
I mean,
Step
I think he did
12.
other things before that, right?
Yeah, but that's a huge credit.
There is a
Yeah, that's
director
the
there
thing he did.
who managed to do something in Hollywood that wasn't like Black Stories, wasn't strictly Black Story related.
yeah.
So I was thinking, I didn't look it up. I assume he's one of the, if not the first black.
I thought you were doing a
director to
joke. Were you doing a
superhero
joke?
film.
You looked at me.
Me? I was
Yeah,
looking
you said
at you.
story. You said
No.
story and you kind of smiled a little bit. I was
No,
like,
no. I think I smiled
Oh.
after the fact because I realized, oh, that was no pun intended. But anyways, my point is he's a filmmaker who's managed to do not like we talked about Malcolm and Marie and how that was like the thing. Yeah, well, he didn't have that problem. Though I will say, Barbershop is a great movie. I fucking love the Barbershop.
Barbershop is awesome.
Oh, you barbershop too?
He
I like
do.
Barbershop too.
No, I said, did he do barbershop also? Because all I know is his credits.
Words mean
Fantastic
things.
Fours, 1 and
No, I did not
2,
see
and-
the next cut. I hear that was good too.
They actually are both pretty good. Surprisingly.
there's 3 of them.
You would
The
not
next
think
cut.
that.
Next cut's the
Wait,
third.
is the
Yeah,
third
the
one the
third
one
one.
with Queen Latifah?
I knew there were at least
No, it's
3.
the second one. That's the second one. Barbershop
Is it the
2
second
back
one?
in business. Yeah, it's the second one.
Oh.
And
I've
this,
seen the
ladies and
entire
gentlemen,
Barbershop trilogy.
this
It's
dear
how much
listener,
we
is how much
dislike
we loved Tom and Jerry. Is that we don't even want to fucking talk about it.
We don't want to talk about it. And so I'll say this. I'll start. I usually ask you guys for your Twitter review. I didn't mind it, and I watched it with my kids, and they gave it 2 thumbs up, and that's what really matters. And we got to watch it in our home in safety. So hashtag Michael Pena.
I'll say it's a great kids movie for kids. Like, it's not like Pixar or Disney, where as an adult, you're like, this is very clever. But yeah, I was watching it. I'm like, kids would fucking love this. Like, and honestly, I think the Tom and Jerry stuff rings true and is just as entertaining as the old cartoons. But it's, as one review pointed out, it's really it's not a movie about Tom and Jerry.
No, it isn't. Honestly,
That's the
probably
film's problem, I think.
No, actually, I think it's
Is
his
it,
best
though?
feature. I think it's his best
Yeah.
feature. That's the only reason it works for me at all, is because for me, Chloe Grace Moretz's character is pretty likable.
No, yeah, I agree. She's likable. It's just like,
That's about it. Like for me, that's kind of what makes it for me, is she's just like, she's a likable character. And then I guess the stuff of the wedding is a little bit amusing, but that's about it. The Tom and Jerry stuff I could do without, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's fine. Like I played it up, I think, when I was talking about how stupid it was, because I agree it is stupid, but it's fine. It's not
short,
for
too.
me.
it's actually
It
the
felt-
right length
it
for a
felt
kids
long.
movie.
It
Yeah,
felt
but it's like
long.
90 minutes.
It's like watching an episode of John Oliver, last week tonight. That's what it felt like. But like, that show's
Entertaining
long.
and
It feels
terrifying.
feels
It makes
so
you
long.
angry about
It
politics.
feels so long. Yeah. But
Oliver feels long to
It's
you?
because your soul is dying as you watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
No,
what's
but
going
here's
on
the
in
thing:
this
is
country?
I didn't like the movie, but by the end of it, I was just kind of like, you know what? In 2021, that's not the worst thing in the world I could have watched.
Nope.
No, and I still like the cartoon style they chose over like.
I hated it. I didn't like it.
You'd rather see like a CGI realistic cat and mouse
No, I'd rather see a cartoon
what I
and not
pictured.
like not like a, what's it called? Not
Mesh.
a
hybrid.
cell shaded CG thing. I preferred it to look like Roger Rabbit than this.
Yeah, but you'll never get another. I don't know.
No,
I
that's
like
true.
the style enough. I actually saw a test that one of the people who were doing a test footage for it did, like a third-party company, and they removed Ryan Gosling and put in Tom and Jerry into the dance from a
La La
movie
Land?
where he dances a lot.
La La Land.
La La Land, like the one with the bench and the sunset, and they
put
use
Tom
that
and
as like
Jerry in there?
a lighting test. Yeah, whoever did the first like viz for them. But I like the style, and I like the commitment to the world of like all the animals are animated to a point that when they're
Yeah.
eating meat, the meat is also animated.
Yeah, I love that. I love the animated animals. That was
Like
probably
they
one
have
of my
like
favorite
steak or something,
characteristics.
cow, like, they have like pieces of meat hanging from like the ceiling in a deli or something, and it's all animated meat because all the
I
animals.
think
are
if I had to
animated.
choose a thing aside from Michael Pena that I really liked about this movie, it would be that just the commitment to the idea that this is the cartoon world that we watch them in, just all the people are real. So in the sense that all of the people that interacted with them when we were kids, with the exception of the racist Mammy character, like these are those adults, these are those people. And they all just kind of accept that these dogs and cats and mice are
dropping anvils on each other.
Animated.
yeah, that they're all animated, which I just like the commitment to that idea, and it wasn't weird. So to Jammer's point about being animated, I'm sorry, to being like Roger Rabbit, I like that. Except with the difference being it is not an acknowledged thing. So in Roger Rabbit, they're tunes and they talk about
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
Or in
Yeah, I meant the
Murder-
animation style, to be clear.
didn't like
not-
the
No,
cell shaded
yeah.
look. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm saying that I like the commitment to this idea, and I liked the interaction between them. The only difference between Roger Rabbit, it's like you're an outlier, you're a tune. In this, it's like no, this is just the way it is, and no one ever
This is what
says
animals are. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just what
It's
they
the
are.
only thing
and
they
I
know
love
as far as
that.
animals.
Yeah, I like that.
It's great.
There's like a lot of little things that I'm like, okay, yeah, this works. Yeah, this is all right. It's all right. Yeah, this is okay. That's basically me in the movie, and I was like, at the end of it, I wasn't upset having watched it, but I'm not going to watch it again.
Jammer, I loved your Twitter review there. I just want to make sure I wrote it down properly. In 2021, there's worse films I could have watched. Is that what you said?
Well, to be clear,
is
to be
that
clear.
is the review of the year so far. That in 2021, there's worse films I could have watched. Go watch Tom and Jerry.
To be clear, it's less to do with the fact that there are worse movies in 2021 and more the fact that considering what I'm dealing with in 2021, this is like, all right, I could deal with this. I could deal with a little bit of, random bullshit.
Decent hour and a half, but too long.
It felt
Jonesy,
I
how
didn't-
old are you? Sorry, Jonesy, how old are your kids, buddy?
So my daughter will be 5 this month, and my son is 6.
Okay, because
And he'll
I
be
went with
7 in August.
I went with a couple of kids too. 2 girls, 6 and 8, and
Just
they
2 random kids you picked up.
yeah. Well,
Where else are you gonna get
just
them?
found them on the street. Yeah, where else are you gonna give them? And
Buy
they
'em in
both
Dubai.
gave it a thumbs middling. They were
Yeah,
that
interesting.
there were bits that they found funny, but then the rest of it they were kind of fidgety, even for a 90-minute movie.
Interesting.
They enjoyed Crudes 2 much more. They were.
That movie did pretty well
enjoying
at the
that
box
much more.
office too.
Yeah, it did.
Crudes 2,
What I
meaning
find
the
funny-
second Crudes film, not Crudes as well. They didn't Crudes as well. Crudes 2, the
Jeez,
second
Nick.
movie.
Words
in a
mean
sequence.
things.
Yeah, the Crudes 2, the saga, the Crudes saga. That's what they enjoyed more.
I will say this about my kids. I have found that they have a harder time watching a movie in a theater than they do at home, which is weird.
Okay.
So if it's a thing that they like, they can just zone in on it and focus on it at home. And so my daughter actually both my kids watched this and didn't move. My daughter did not move while we watched Raya and the Last Dragon. Like she was just like fixated on the screen, and she's a fidgety kid. And so, some of that, I think some of that has to do with watching it at home in their own comfort versus being in a movie theater.
That's fair. We've got the movie theater experience for Raya on Saturday. So tomorrow, where I am, that's tomorrow now. So I'm super pleased that your kids liked it because everyone's super stoked and excited to go watch it.
My son is
because I'm reviewing it next week, obviously. But
I'm not going to give away spoilers, but I will say this: my son is a bit of a misogynist, despite my best efforts. Like if it is a movie, if it's a TV show about girls, he's fine. But for some reason, movies about girls, he watches them reluctantly, almost as though he is being told by someone, not me, that this is for girls and you shouldn't be watching this.
Is it allegedly by Jammer? Apparently, this could be Jammer's doing. Apparently.
All right,
Allegedly.
I hate to do this. I have to leave. I have to head out.
And on that
But-
note, you got to defend
on that
yourself
note-
before you go. That was only allegedly you're a misogynist. I have to say that. That's not my opinion or the opinion of anyone else on this side. Quick,
All right,
defend
I
yourself
remember.
before you go.
No, I mean, I'm not. There you go. I defended myself. I gotta go.
Thanks,
So
guys.
last thing before you go, would you recommend this movie to people?
No.
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 Okay.
All right. Bye.
Jammer's take.
See you, buddy. Thanks, Jammer.
Jammer's take. I will say this.
Hate that dude.
As
It sounds
as
like that
someone who
joke
grew
every
up with
time.
Tom and Jerry, one of the things that I liked about it from a nostalgia point of view, they did lots of
Like it up,
things
Jonesy.
that you remember as a kid. So like, here's that one demon on his shoulders. Here's
Yeah,
Am I breaking up?
you're doing better now. You're
Okay.
fine now. Yeah.
The dog lumps like when Spike gets hit on the
Yeah,
head, his
pressing
lump
it
comes out,
down.
he gets like tap it back down, and just the Rube Goldberg device, and they can't talk but they can sing. There were things about this. I was like, oh, I remember that, and it kept me when I felt my interest waning, they would do a thing that would remind me of being a kid. And so from that perspective,
that's fair.
I get that Jammer wasn't into it, but it did a good job of spacing out those things enough to keep me entertained.
Gotcha. So the kids and the adults entertained at the same time, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
We got a bit of nostalgia, and the kids got a bit of goofy animated fun on screen, etc. Yeah, I can see that. I wouldn't recommend this film either, but I do see that point. That's a fair point. I'm with Jam. I wouldn't recommend this.
I have to. I guess I wouldn't recommend it either. But I was gonna say I haven't talked to Jonesy's talked about him a lot, but yeah, Michael Pena, the heart of this movie for me.
It's so good.
What did he call it? An animal? I was like in an animal hurricane or something like that. I love that scene where he's holding
Tornado,
it. and he's like,
tornado.
yeah, you're seeing it from the inside and like from a human's perspective, and you're like, and at the end where he's playing like he's separate, he's like talking to them, and he's like, you know what your friend told me. at the end where he's
Oh,
like,
when they're in
"Wow,
the
only one
prison.
of you go
Yeah.
back to the hotel." Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
then Droopy Dog
interrogation
had the
scene.
same cameo as the 1992 version of Tom and Jerry. Only he doesn't have the Hannibal mask in the 1992 version of Tom and Jerry. Because for the audience, I bought that for $5 on Vudu right after watching the first one. And I was watching it and I'm like, shit, I know the theme and all of the songs from this movie still. So I must have watched it way too many times. And the plot is it's the rescuers. There's a little girl who needs help. So Tom and Jerry are trying to rescue her from her ward, or no, her guardian.
That's
But they
funny.
talk. And I remember that being a bad thing. And I'm like, thank God they don't talk in this movie, which is why it looked interesting. But Richard Kind voices Tom, and I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
But it was such a bad transfer of it that there's like, it looks like a VHS, and there's literally like green/blue static on the bottom of the image, and it's super letterboxed.
Jeez,
But
that sounds really bad.
yeah, I'd recommend that one first.
Over this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I will say that I enjoyed this movie as someone who watched Tom and Jerry for hours and hours and hours as a kid. And I think that the story that they built around it, like not necessarily the wedding, because I thought that was just okay, but to Jammer's point, like Chloe Grace Moretz and to my point, Michael Pena, like I really enjoyed watching them. And so that was fun. That was fun for me. So I would recommend this to anybody with kids. I wouldn't say necessarily watch this on your own, but if you have an affinity for Tom and Jerry, despite not really being their movie, I would still say watch it.
Like that's why, yeah, Jammer and I disagree. Like I like the Chloe stuff and all the other actors, but favorite scenes are so like the little vignettes that feel like the cartoons, like walking across the electrical wires, and Jerry just keeps, no matter what he tries, Jerry like slams the thing on the window on his fingers, or he gets struck by lightning, like, or like you said, the dog lumps, or just even the early chases, like, yeah, and like just like the cartoons, Jerry is the villain in the cartoons. Like, the beginning, Tom is trying to make extra money by pretending to be blind, but Jerry didn't have to go ahead and like break his fucking keyboard that he carries around the rest of the movie.
I love that scene because they were like, "Hey, Dad, it's a blind cat playing piano." He's like, "Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in New York. You just got to keep moving." I don't know why. It just cracked me up. Like, just made me laugh. A lot of weird stuff here. Just keep moving.